Yes, good people. Big up to all of you. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. I do hope you all are doing well. We did not stream yesterday because we had a technical issue that I wasn't able to rectify right on time for us to start. And I thought we'd do it later in the day, still wasn't able to rectify. But that's by the way, I appreciate you all. It's another day, another Blue Morning show on Chelsea Perspective. And yeah, specifically another Chelsea transfer watch on Chelsea Perspective. A lot has been going on. Not too much you can say what's going on, but a lot has been going on of late, and we are enjoying it. We're cooking, as a lot of Chelsea fans would say. But that's by the way, today we'll talk about Romeo Lavia, Moses Caicedo, maybe a bit of it, and then we'll also talk about the goalkeeper targets, and then we'll talk about Michael Olise, and beyond that, some of the news may well emerge as the show progresses. But that's by the way, sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. If you're in the chat, please do let me know you can hear me. Let me check my microphone myself. You probably weren't hearing everything I was saying, but apologies for that. I think I have rectified that. Yeah, it was on mute and I didn't know. But more importantly, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. As I was saying during the start, but not knowing that the mic was on mute, we'll talk about Romeo Lavia, we'll talk about Michael Olise, Todd Boehly himself, and then, of course, Moses Caicedo, and any other news that may well emerge as the show progresses. But that's why do I have to say hello to those of you in the chat already. Yeah, it's not thinking I had a technical issue, and I do everything alone, so it wasn't easy to rectify it. We are waiting. Dubai connection. I appreciate you joining, brother. I hope you're doing well. And we have salute to Mr. Peter Pan. Mr. Peter Pan, thank you. I appreciate you for finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well today. And good morning, good day to be a blue. A very good day to be a blue. And the hate from rival fans, rival pundits, rival clubs, yeah, it's falling, drizzling, or maybe, I don't know, you can say coming at us as usual. And that's a good sign. So whenever you get that much hate, you're doing something right. It's a reflective of how well you're doing. If nobody talks about you, then you're absolutely nobody. Or maybe you haven't come to the real. If that's a problem to you, you haven't come to the realization when you're being talked about, then you're doing something right. But that's right where we'll move on from that. What else do we have here? Adube Lamatu, nice to see you. Peter Pan, nice to see you. Dubai Connection, Patrick Joyce, nice to see all of you. And Jeff Tosikwe says, good afternoon, fam. Ooh, happy days indeed. I wish I could say the way you can say with the rhythm you had in mind when you typed there, it would have been yeah, excellent. And as happy days. Given these signings and possible targets to be acquired, it will be will it be realistic to say Poch needs to get into top four bare minimum? I'm not gonna you can say get ahead of myself. I'm just gonna keep saying what I've been saying since the start of the season, or since we started you can say the opening of the transfer window. I expect us to do well. How well, I cannot be definite. I cannot give you a definite answer, but be rest assured we'll do better than a lot of people expect us to do. And the chances are, I expect a few more signings, at least 2 or 3 more. If we do that and do that strategically, then yeah, our chances are we get into top 4. But I'm not going to be as specific as letting you know where I think we're going to finish. But I think we'll do well. Peter Pan says, please, what is Elise's natural position and Is he competing against Madueke? Most likely he will be rotating with Madueke. That's the term I want to use. Competing is also fine. He's naturally a winger, but given the way he applies himself on the pitch and his overall ability as a footballer, he's capable. You can say he's well equipped to fulfill the number 10 role. He has good vision, good passing range, eye for goals, and all that. So he's a fine player overall. And yeah, you should ask yourself, why would Pep be going after him in the first place? Be interested in signing him. That's the better language to use there. Big up to you too, Mr. Side Eyes. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I think that's something that's familiar with you can say a tone used in TikTok quite a lot. Charvain, where is the backup striker? Who do you think they will pursue? Here's the thing. We actually do not use the language backup here. We use competition. We use rotational player. Why do we do that? Let me educate you a bit. Maybe you will learn from that. Man City, when a player A gets injured and player B comes in, the quality of the team doesn't, you can say, doesn't suffer. So that's because they don't have starters and backups. They have multiple starters in each position. So when player A gets injured, if player B comes in, he does an equally good job, or maybe an even better job. So that's why we don't condone using the language backup here, because when you accept a player as a backup player, which means it's not, you can say he doesn't have the quality to start. So when the starting player gets injured, the team's quality suffers. So that's why we don't use the term, backup here. And it looks like the owners, they're into that too. They've been signing all quality players. Nothing you look at will say, yeah, it's a backup player. And I like that. And if you remember when we had Ben Chilwell and Reece got injured, the team suffered, and that's because what we had available to come in their place were both backups and not starters. If that makes sense. Lavia, 16 million at the bench is a ridiculous. 433 is the answer. Nobody says Lavia was going to be starting on the bench. Even if we go with a three, let's say 3-4-2-1, I think he still starts as one of the eights, because Lavia can play as an 8-2. And in my opinion, he's actually well equipped to execute the 10 role. So I'm not concerned. We didn't sign him to be on the bench given his quality. Big up to you too, King Mo. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Imagine substituting a player, a drummer for player B, Lukaku. Yeah, exactly. That highlights exactly why I was saying we shouldn't be using the term backup. We should be using the term competition or rotational player. So it's quality all around. When A gets injured, if B comes in, you're still fine. Assuming we don't have, if Lavia gets injured, if it's rotating with Moises Caicedo, but I see them both starting more in a lot of games. But if we decide, okay, that they have to be rotating with each other, if either of the two gets injured, whoever comes in, we do an equally good job. That's why I don't condone using the term backup. Because if you look beyond the word and take your time to, I ask yourself, what do I really mean by backup? Which means you're accepting that particular player isn't as good as the starting player, if that makes sense. Coach, I think January, Jackson may go Nations Cup. Don't we need not a backup? But I get it. If you look beyond the mean, you can say, look into it properly. You don't use the term backup, which means that person doesn't get to start until Jackson leaves for AFCON, which means, again, also you accepting that Jackson is the better of the two. You want a player that's as good as Jackson or better than Jackson, push each other to do better. So when player A isn't available, B will be excellent for us. That's what I'm trying to explain here. So that's why I understand what you mean there, but I refuse to use the term backup. Lavia, a good mover for Chelsea. It's an excellent move, actually. I'm sure my friend and brother, who's an OG here, Chelsea all the way, he'd be elated for the fact we'll sign Jackson, and it looks like we're keeping Andrea Santos. I'm so happy about the development of the club. I hope things would remain the same as last. Would remain the same as last year. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But Thomas Faya, I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Right now, I want to appeal to those of you who are watching, but for some reason or the other are not able to participate in the chat. I just know that we appreciate you. We totally understand that you watching alone does go a long way for the community. But we want to ask you for one more favor, one tiny bitty favor. If you don't mind, please do take a second, drop a like on the stream for us. We'd really appreciate that. Nobody will know you do that when you do that. And Liam Lane, if you're watching, just know I haven't forgotten about you. Whenever time allows, I will shoot you a message to see how you're doing. And Glenn, also, I hope you're recovering from your own situation. Just remember, we haven't forgotten about you. But thank you so much for all of you. And Lucky Umakara says, Olise can create chances from both flanks, wondering if he can play the role of the number 10. I would just leave it at the fact that, given his qualities, his attributes, I think he's well equipped to fulfill that role. Another question now, is he capable of doing it? We don't know, but we want a specialist there, and I think we're signing Olise as a winger because we have only Noni Madueke for that right hand side, and Raheem Sterling. You can say he's not lived up to expectations. So yeah, we're losing wingers in that on the right hand side, and I think we do need a winger. So we're probably most likely signing him as a winger. FI says Victor and the team will be complete. Victor Osimhen, I don't think we'll be able to afford him right now. Even the Saudis, I think they've offered Saudis offered 100 million euros, and the Lorientes who to be specific, the Napoli president refused that. But that's, by the way, we're going into addressing the items we have lined up one by one. But before I do that, I'd like to say hello to my bro, JC. JC, I do hope you're doing well. Big up, Coachila. Hope you are doing well. I cannot complain. It wasn't anything. It wasn't an illness. But, I had a technical issue. Wasn't able to rectify that. And, but because I walk alone, usually not easy. So keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We're entering, we're shooting for 17,000 subscribers, and I know in a few days we'll be able to get that. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes that do go a long way. I appreciate you. Victor Osimhen is at 150 to 200 million euros. Will be a bad buy. Yeah, I don't think we should do that, honestly, in my opinion. But let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. If Broya will soon be fit, do you think we need another striker? Otherwise, Broya will be sold. I think the reason we're actually not pushing too much to sign another striker may well be because, what's his name? For finance start to live at what's the club he went on loan to in Germany? Has been excellent. He's been doing well for them. And I think maybe the club, they're not too much in a rush to go into the market because maybe Broya recovers fully. They give him a chance to see how well he does. Then if it doesn't work out in January, then we'll be going for another striker, if that makes sense. So let's start addressing the items we have lined up here. And this is the first item here. Our first item here, which Fabrizio Romano reports, Romeo Lavia to Chelsea. Here we go. If you don't understand what it means when he says here we go, which means certainly that player will be joining, he said, the mentioned club. In this case, Romeo Lavia to Chelsea. Here we go. Deal agreed between clubs on final fee, short of 16 million, add-ons included. Structure also agreed. Lavia will undergo medical tests this week. Just informed by clubs that the agreement has been reached. Romeo said yes to Chelsea on Monday, and I write something online which you could say explained clearly why he chose to join Chelsea. Liverpool, I get it. We've been there before Liverpool, actually, because we had an audacious last-minute bid of, I think, around 15 million or so during the last transfer window, rejected by Southampton. But Liverpool, beyond that, Liverpool, they've been there. They've been pushing, but they've been lowballing Southampton, going from 35 million pounds to 40 to 45 and all that. And Southampton knew all the while that Liverpool, they had the cash because they sold I think two players, or how many players, to Saudi Arabia. I don't know if any of them left on as a free agent. If anybody did, it must be the former Brazilian international. What's his name again? I can't quite recall his name. Left as a free agent, but the other two they made up money from it. And Southampton from the south, Southampton knew that and were shocked at, you can say, how they were lowballing them, and then they tried to. I'm sure Chelsea probably, most likely, in my opinion, weren't that serious about signing Romeo Lavia. But I get it. There were rumors out there, or reports out there suggesting that Chelsea, we've always wanted the two players. We wanted Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. So, but maybe we didn't really push out of respect for the fact that they were already talking with Liverpool. We didn't really push until they tried to hijack the Romeo Lavia there. Then we say, what, you know what? If we can use them both, let's go for them. And Romeo Lavia, yeah, felt like was more serious than Liverpool, and he accepted our bid. Even as Liverpool went back in with £60 million, he was rejected. I'm not too sure. I think some are saying that they accepted it, but the player himself has told them he wants to go to Chelsea, and that makes a whole lot of difference. But that's why I want to get your opinion. How do you think you're shocked that we were able to pull off this one? Did you, again, all this while expect us to get that deal over the line? Coachila, there's a lot of agenda flying around CFC spending. A lot of channels are not addressing it correctly. If you are okay, I could come on to the panel. Yeah, let's just address the items we'll have lined up here, then you can come on and let's talk about it. Everybody now is, you can say, a financial expert. As long as you can say it's about Chelsea, everybody knows, yeah, we're in trouble. Some are saying FFP is ruined, FFP doesn't exist, and all that nonsense. And they're not considering the fact that we've sold a lot of players and we made quite a lot of money from the source of those players in particular. So we're moving from that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Can we recall, and by the way, I wanted to tell you, JC, actually, or have a show planned for that in particular. But if you want to talk about the beat here, then we'll talk about it specifically during another show. That's fine. Can we recall Fofana and pay the German club a small fee for premature termination of loan contract rather than spend money on another striker? I don't know. It depends on what we have on his current contract. So I'm not well acquainted with that. So yeah, sometimes clubs can do that, but it depends. I'm not too sure. Even I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. He says we need a forward. And by the way, I like your DP depicting how the Chelsea Lion is you can say tearing into or tearing apart. I don't know what's that called. What's that on Liverpool's? Is that a penguin? I'm not too sure what that is actually. Andrew Phillips, please, how good is Lavia? As I am confused with this signing. Lavia, you could say, is more, I would say, a bit more skillful than Moises Caicedo. He's more suitable to play the 8 role than Caicedo, in my opinion. Yeah, I haven't done, you can say, I haven't taken my time to deep dive to see how they really differ. But those are just off the top of the bat. Those are the things I can tell you about the two players. It's so satisfying to see players reject Liverpool for us. I'm telling you the truth, nothing as satisfying as that. And they were actually confident that they were going to sign Moises Caicedo. And we content creators also thought it was over. And you can see Chelsea fans at the time started turning on our board, calling them names and all that. But that's why the Poch must be faced with the happening. Must be faced with the happenings of last week. Happy he will be, but the situation is much different when CFC negotiated the contract with him. CFC went in mud. We were in the mud then, and now he has seen the real power, what we can do, the CFC's full power and all that. I think he must be elated. And I like that. And the servant of Elohim, Yahweh, I'm guessing you're a pastor. Chelsea, all the way. I appreciate you finding the time to join us. And please, if you're watching, if you haven't, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. We have 62 likes. Let's get it to 100 and shoot for 200 as soon as possible. Lavia is good. Yeah, he's a good player overall. But I can't quite say beyond those you can say basics that I've mentioned, how he differs from Moses Caicedo, but I'll take my time to do that because it's important. 19-year-old and already very aware. Yeah. The Liverpool chicken. Oh yeah, it's a yeah, I like that. A moment of appreciation for Enzo Fernandez amplified. Enzo Fernandez, he was magnificent. He was excellent. He was delicious to watch. He was superb. He was scintillating on that day against Liverpool. Maybe the structure or the new manager. And I've always said this: how a player applies himself, or let me say, not to be too specific, there, how a player applies themselves on themselves on the pitch. Sometimes it depends on the manager's demand. And I've always used the example of Antonio Rudiger, whom you can say lots of Chelsea fans or a lot of us thought will be on his way out of the gates of Stamford Bridge. Thomas Tuchel came in, and yeah, he became one of our best players, if that makes sense. So yeah, a moment of appreciation indeed. I want to know how FFP can affect Chelsea in this transfer window. I don't think it will. We made a lot of sales. You can say we've been moving strategically, and believe me, we've been reluctant to pay the money for Moses Caicedo. You could argue that's because had we done that at the time without being, again, how sure we're going to recoup, it would have been a problem. But I'm not too well acquainted with that situation. We will schedule a show to answer that question. And Musa Yakubu Kone, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join. This here says, big up to you two, Phil Sims. I appreciate you. 4-3-3 to accommodate them both. One of them central, flanked by either of the two. That is out of Moses Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, and Romeo Lavia. I think we're set, honestly. What about the issue of Olise? He comes in. Olise is a winger. He's an excellent player. And according to Fabrizio Romano, quote unquote, Olise to Chelsea Football Club is imminent. Yeah, I'm happy. And that's coming from Maweje, Julius, nice to see you, brother. And the Roman Empire, Jogi Hennessy, Mr. Hennessy, be rest assured, and I'm quite sure Roman Abramovich will be so proud, so glad he chose Todd Boehly and Co. because he had the final say. And the people are, NXT people are just missing the point. In as much as Chelsea is buying players, Chelsea is also doing business in terms of player sales and still has more players to sell. A lot of people, they don't have the time to consider that. They're just bitter. So, and listen, when you're bitter like that, you can say you cling on to, you can say whatever you see without looking whether it makes sense or not. That's just how they are behaving right now. Crystal Palace reports of Chelsea tapping up Olise is a smooth screen. It should be a here we go. Yeah, it's a here we go. Yeah, I don't care much of what they think there. Keep dropping the likes on the beat on the stream, people. The likes will go a long way, but the Starling is off form. It's you can say at this point beyond off form is an Arsenal fan. No, he's not. But that's by the way, Bobby. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this morning. I hope you're doing well. A lot have changed, and the mood within the fan base, has changed quite a lot. Although there are still quite a few who refuse to admit that the new owners know what they're doing. You can say out of shame, or just maybe they'd rather the club fail so they can come out and say, yeah, I told you guys, I told you. They don't know what they're doing. But that's, by the way, just a few more 2 seconds here. A few more seconds here. But starting off, I'm saying hello to my bro here, Brian Yahayu, a.k.a. 343 Dilemma, a.k.a. Vivel FC, a.k.a. Contender FC, and now Jackson FC. I appreciate you joining. One more, and I'll bring Bobby in. MMJ Fitness, appreciate you joining, brother. Greetings from Finland. Much love to Chelsea family. 2 or 3 more incoming soon. Another here we go, and we own Liverpool FC. We own them already. The match on Sunday did not end until we got a here we go from Fabrizio Romano with regards to our pursuit of Romeo Lavia. It's now 3-1. So Bobby, go ahead. Romeo Lavia, we pulled that one off too, even though Liverpool were offering much more than we were willing to offer. Your thoughts? How did we do that?
Yeah, that's so much down to the scouting and directorship system we have in place. Joe Shields was very instrumental in that,
Hmm.
and we have to acknowledge this. Going back to a point that you made, a lot of those fans that came out daggers drawn at the ownership, if they are not now able to say, "Hey, look, I was wrong," then that is testimony to the detestable nature of their character. There's nothing
They just
wrong
want the
with
club to fill so they can say
not
that, yeah,
not
we're correct.
not just that. It's more about them, and people like that are not people you want to know. They're
Hmm.
just obstinate human beings. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, but it's very admirable, as far as I'm concerned, to be able to hold your hand up and say you were wrong, and we all move on. I mean,
Hmm.
football's about opinions in the fan base. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. But be open to learn in life. Always be open to be corrected in life. And I think the ownership of Chelsea has corrected everybody. Todd Boehly, actually, in the beginning, when he came in, he told us we are aware of FFP. We know everything about FFP, which tells you that they were studying it, they were knowing what the rules are. All these people that go around saying, "Ooh, Chelsea played the system." They didn't play any system. There were rules and they operated within the rules. The only difference between Chelsea and others is that they were intelligent enough, one, to know what their boundaries are, one, to play up to, one, to act up to the limits of their boundaries where they needed to, and to perform. These people, you can see why they are billionaires. They are brave, they are forward thinking, they don't particularly, I mean, there's risk taking stupidly, and there's risk taking in a calculated way. They take calculated risks. Everything about what they're doing with the club is a calculated risk and a sensible risk. Fortune favors the brave, and these brave men go where angels fear to tread. This is a winning formula. They have an expansive project of a capacity and scale that has never been done before in the history of football. Other clubs are already studying, trying to mimic, and I can assure you that by this time next season, a lot of them will be copying Chelsea. You start seeing a lot more young players in teams. I mean, Liverpool even started that halfway through the game against us and flooded their forward line with youngsters. The Chelsea way has always been the way. We have always been the pace setters. Romeo Lavia, in a strange kind of way, this deal had me almost as anxious as the Caicedo deal, who, by the way, has the number 25. Just to
Yeah,
add
yeah,
that to you.
I've seen that.
Uh,
Yes.
so, Caicedo was crucial, very, very important on so many fronts. And Liverpool, who came in and uh, uh, um, what's the word I'm looking for? They inflated the price. They also made it a matter of club honor and respect. Yes, we last summer we were kind of bullied and gazumped in the transfer market by Barcelona and everybody else, really, because that wasn't the only target we went for, and they took it away from us. Bayern took away De Ligt, remember? And of
Hmm.
course, Barca took away, I forgot the name of that right back as well. After we messed up, we kind of performed a bit like Liverpool's performing now, being undecided with some players, then going back to them, and of course, they're then saying that we're not interested and so on. So we learned from all that. And the attempt on Caicedo, which was a very strong one, had to be rebuffed. Unfortunately, we had done enough homework on the player, and done enough due diligence about the player for him to be able to come out and say, I want Chelsea. And from all indications, he truly is a Chelsea fan. He watched the Champions League final. in his home country, and he's really in it for Chelsea. So that helped us get it across the line. That was a crucial one. The club prestige was at stake, and thankfully we were able to show who we are
Mm.
and defeat that attack. But Romeo Lavia also had me concerned. I'll be happier once I see him holding up the shirt, and I hear he's doing his medical today. But that completes the midfield. It's crucial. He is such a player. People don't really understand the sort of player he is. They're looking at him as a defensive midfielder. He's more than that.
Yeah,
Romeo
there's more to his
Lavia,
game. Yeah, good point. Great point
so
right there.
much more. He has great offensive midfield qualities. He has a fierce shot on him. The offensive nature of his game, I believe, will be where he'll be used more in a three-man midfield. People say, "Oh, what about Enzo?" Well, Enzo will then be able to drop right into the middle and orchestrate. With Caicedo being more of the defensive type. That's how I see it anyway. Of course, all three of them can
Mm.
rotate as necessary in game, but it was vital to get him. And then
Yeah.
people say, "Oh, what about Santos? What about Santos has a place? You need that strength in depth. We're not going to be out of Europe forever, number one. And in the Premier League games, there's enough for him to play. He's an 18-year-old. If he gets
Mm.
15 games a season, he's done well. This season he's done very well. He doesn't need to play game in, game out.
Here's
I
something
wouldn't
I want to say
advise that.
quickly. Yeah.
You
Something
know,
I want
it,
to say quickly in terms of how they were able, you can say, to pull some of this off, even when Liverpool you say they offered more, specifically in the case, especially in the case of Romeo Lavia, to been there before us. I think maybe we learned a viable lesson from the case of Rafinha, because we did not negotiate with him. We just went straight. We went straight to
with the
Leeds
club.
United. Agreed. You can say the transfer fee with Leeds United, and we haven't even spoken with the player. So now I think we've changed our strategy. If you look
Yeah.
at Moises Caicedo, we agreed personal terms with him long time ago, even before, even as the whole thing was you could say going on. And the same thing with Romeo Lavia, we went straight to him, agreed personal terms with him before going to Southampton. I think we learned a lesson. We learned quite a viable lesson from the case of Rafinha, and it's working because it doesn't make any sort of sense if you agree the transfer fee with the club and then come to the player and learn that the player doesn't want to come to you. They want to go. They want to go to another club. I didn't know we were going to be able to pull off this one because, yeah, I get it. We had an audacious bid rejected towards the closure of the last transfer window, but Liverpool have been there before us. They've been there since this particular transfer window. All we've been saying is that we're interested. He's on our list, on a short list of our midfielders that we want. But yeah, Bobby, go ahead if you're still talking before I bring in Roger. I'm going to catch up with
Yeah,
what we have
but
in the chat once you're done talking.
I want to actually address that point because that's a
Mm.
very, very delicate point, and why we often appeared to be looking at it from a distance because we didn't want to get too much recognized involvement of Joe Shields with Lavia. And as
Mm.
you can see, there's rumor, and I think it's a bunch of nonsense. There's rumor behind them saying Palace want to report us for tapping up Olise, which is rubbish. Now, yes, it is vital to get buy-in from the player. You need to talk to the player, but you also need to almost simultaneously approach the club because it is the club that will give the player permission to talk. And quite often, when the club is being difficult, or rather reluctant or trying to have a negotiating stance, they tend to delay that. And that's where the player comes in. But because of accusations of tapping up and so on, you need to be careful how you approach the player. And that's where agents come in, agents and scouts and almost tertiary people come in and start to talk to the player, drop seeds here and there. It's a very delicate balance. And also in your due diligence, you have to understand the type of player you're going for. You know, these players we went for, we knew that we had links to them anyway. You know, Caicedo, we understood his Chelsea attraction and went with that, you know, built upon that. Olise, well, he was a Chelsea boy. I know Sky Sports are trying to say, oh, he was Arsenal as well. No, nonsense. He spent more time in his young years at Chelsea, and he's only a young man now anyway. So he knows he's Chelsea. His brother is here as another tool to talk to him with, because his brother is actually in our academy. And you know, if you look at those players, they're very, very carefully selected, you know, despite their quality, and you know, this is how we've approached them with that. And I think Lavia, as soon as Chelsea showed serious interest, especially after the way Liverpool were. I think Liverpool had an advantage, but they didn't bid correctly. They got the player but didn't get the club, which was just wasting time, almost like we did with Caicedo to some extent. But then when we,
And by the time we can call in, the player he's gotten tired of Liverpool wasting time.
yeah, and the insult of how they suddenly switched to Caicedo and dropped big money. So then we then had the opportunity to get the player and get the club, because we gave the player assurances and then dropped some money that the club were interested in looking at. Yes, our first bid was just 2 million short, but it just told the club, look, we're serious and that we're going to meet their valuation. So, and even that, and that's probably why, if you see how they reacted, they have allowed us to go 2 million under what Liverpool has has offered, which I think was quite an intelligent joke. That it will take people with a brain to understand the meaning of what that's all about.
I think it was a war, and one that we're at this point we've won, because it's ended with the signing of Romeo Lavia. The war has ended, and we're the victor. Unfortunately for them, are we not buying a striker? I think I'm not too sure what's going to happen. Some rumors a few days ago were saying that Pochettino is comfortable with what we have, and I think we may have to go into the market to buy a striker. I just switch to payback mode. Teams go collect this season. I love you, liar. I think I agree with you. Let's see. This is a response to what Bobby was saying. I think I've read this. I think you misunderstood that. He was saying you don't want to trust anybody that's not capable, any individual that's not capable of admitting, yeah, I made a mistake. I get it. He's not saying people doesn't have the right to criticize the owners for the mistakes they've made. He actually agreed they made a mistake. But in terms of the transfers, when people thought we've missed out on Caicedo, people were slandering the owners. So Bobby's opinion, from what he said, I understand. What I understand from what he was saying then was that they should turn around and say no. They don't exactly know what they're doing or something to that effect. But I'm not going to dwell on this one. I don't want anything to escalate here. Even Gallagher was surprisingly.
Let me be clear, Coach, because JC always thinks he can come back at me and with his nonsense. Coach, what I'm saying, and I'll be very clear, it is disingenuous when you have attacked somebody and they've proved themselves not to be able to turn around and say, okay, I was wrong. It's as simple as that. If you hold on to your guns, then there's something, it says more about what is wrong with you than them. And I mean that, I'll underline that, and I will say that to anybody and everybody. You should be able to say, look, I was wrong about you. I'm sorry. That takes a big person, and that takes somebody with their head screwed on right. If you keep on, I'll tell you, Thiago Silva, my goodness me, when we were getting him on every platform, I went for him. I did not want this old man at Chelsea. He came and he proved me wrong. And to this day and onwards, I will always reflect to that time where I was against him and to this time where I'm for him. And I was wrong. There's nothing wrong with being wrong, but there's something wrong with not being able to admit when you're wrong. That's my
Right,
point.
let me catch up with what we have. I'm going to go to Roger as soon as possible before he accuses me of not letting him speak. And big up to you too. The Prince is here. Big up the Prince. Big up Coach. Big up Bobby. Big up Roger. And a big up Chelsea. Let's like the channel. We must improve this channel. Yep, we're growing. We keep growing and growing. And I'm sure in a few days we'll get to 17,000 subscribers. So I appreciate all the support we get from all of you. Inex Gimfi says, have never seen a novice billionaire before. We know what we're doing. Long live Chelsea. Our enemies can continue to cry. It's as simple as that. I've always said they didn't become billionaires by being dumb. And I'm quite sure they've hired people who are behind the scenes crunching the numbers and say, don't cross this line. You can do this, but if you do this, you must do this to balance the books. Hi to you too, Tango Rido. I appreciate you joining. Hi there, Coach. Today, I'll start with some good news about Chelsea. A lot of good news. We're talking about good news, but let's not... I'm not going to dwell on that. This says, good morning, everyone. The best transfer ever in such a long time. You could argue that. And again, I'm going to say that again. They know exactly about what they're doing. I don't mind seeing Enzo in a number 10 position. If the manager wants to try that, go ahead. But in my opinion, I think it'd be more effective for us from a deeper position because traditionally, you can say he's a deep line playmaker. Crystal Palace, that doesn't mean if he's starting from a deeper position, that doesn't mean he cannot be adventurous on the pitch. He can be. If you give him the freedom to be adventurous on the pitch, you get more out of him. Crystal Palace are angry that Chelsea has become aware of the release clause and would not be paying higher than that. I think they tried to hide that from us, but we'll find out. Big up now, CFC needs a proper striker and goalkeeper, complete teams unless otherwise. Let's see what else we have here. Kevina Achola says, I like that play. Okay, let's see. Arlo Stephen says, Chelsea main aim now is not to sign a striker, but to get rid of Cho, Lukaku, Ziyech, and Chalobah. That's why Broya is not going anywhere. But I think... Okay, just saying, but I don't want this to be back and forth. I'm just gonna let's see what he says. No, Bobby, we were not wrong about Boehly. He mismanaged the change. That's not the point. I think you're misunderstanding Bobby's point. Everything he's saying is with regards to this particular transfer window, but I'm gonna move on to that. I don't want this to become a back and forth thing right now. With the arrival of both Lavia and Casado, it's either Chukwuemeka or Santos will be loaned out, or Gallagher will leave permanently. It's difficult to say what happens. Chukwuemeka, some are saying he's played himself into the team. Some are saying it will be Gallagher. Gallagher will be sold. So we're not too sure until let's see what happens. Big up coachila, the chat and the panel, and Chelsea all the way. You have to again. I don't know. Were you one of the saying that they already? You were saying that they fell in Pochettino. Are you still saying that they fell in Pochettino? I want to hear that from you. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Now it's up to players to show up if they need to become a champions again. I think they will. They have a manager who doesn't take prisoners in terms of you sulking. When you sulk, you don't get the opportunity to be on the pitch for him. You can see even during preseason where we were able to observe or to see, you can say quite a lot of difference between last year's preseason and this year's preseason. So Roger, I'm going to come to you quickly. Did you at any time expect us to be able to get the Lavia deal over the line?
Hello, gentlemen. Good afternoon, good morning. Well, actually,
good morning to you too, bro. I hope you're doing well.
Still morning here, but yeah, I'm doing very well. So did I expect it? Yeah, actually I did for the most part. I wasn't too sure because of the bidding war with those Scousers. But, you know, to be honest with you, the ball was in Lavia's court, wasn't it? So that's why I was a little bit hesitant.
Same way it was in Moses Casado's court.
Offside, coach.
Go ahead, Roger.
Sorry. Yeah, you're correct. Of course. Yeah, for the most part, you're 100% correct. But I'm not. I missed most of your show, so I apologize. I was watching the World Cup semi-finals. So it's interesting. England just scored a goal that I'm sure Sterling can never score. So, but listen, I'm a bit perplexed. How is Lavia going to be used? I caught the back end of what Bobby was saying. So yeah, it's a 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. Would we actually play Enzo, and the two new acquisitions today this week simultaneously, or would it be a rotational basis? I have no idea. I think probably a combination of both, especially going forward next year when we're in Europe, which I expect us to be.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Here's the thing.
It's going to be interesting.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you drop, then I'll explain how I think we can use. We can actually use them both at the same time. Why do I say that? In the 4-3-3 structure, you already said that. But Lavia, has more to his game than just being a DM. For me, I don't. I've been telling people this. I don't see him as a DM really. I see him more of an 8 box to box. And Lavia is actually well equipped to play in to fulfill the number 10 role.
Okay.
So there's a chance the manager can actually use him there, or maybe use Enzo there and play him and Casado as a 2-6s that is in the 4-2-3-1 structure. So it depends. I think we can actually have them both on the pitch. And by the time you can say, if we're able to achieve a European place, a top 4 place, or top 3 or second, and then you can say achieve and be part of the you can say the next Champions League after the coming one, then yeah, we may have the assignment. You can say too many games may lead to us deciding, okay, let's be a bit cautious there and rotate them. So if one of them gets into it, we still have the other one available to select from. But let's see what happens. I'm not too concerned because they differ. That's from what I know on a surface level. But I have to look at it even deeper to say, okay, these are you can say these are the more of the stuff that make them different. But I think they differ already if you've seen them both each play. And this says I don't like you don't like what I'm not too sure what you're saying here. I don't like these Max and loan rumors. It's just rumors, so you don't want to, you can say, look too much into it. Just move on from it. Atalo says, hi coach, hope you are good. I am still concerned about goals. We're still getting the scrappy equalizer goals. I don't think Jackson is going to score 20 goals in the league this season. We're not too sure anybody will until the season ends. But I get it. I'm not too concerned. If the manager feels like he's okay with what he has, fine. If he wants, if he looks at it and tells the owners that he needs one more attacker than a striker, to be specific, I think they are capable of getting him one. CFCC needs a replacement for Jackson. Why I don't know why you're using the term replacement. Maybe competition for him. Coachila, what was your question again? Were you one of those saying that the club? That Todd, Boehly and co, they're already failing Mauricio Pochettino. That was the question I asked. Michael Olise is not really what Chelsea wanted. We need an out-and-out striker. Olise is a winger, right wing to be specific, and in that you can say area, I think we're thin. The only person available to fulfill that role will be Noni Madueke. Raheem Sterling, I don't trust him that much, in my opinion. But let's see what the club does. Chelsea linked with a new goalkeeper, Petrovic, from a club in the US. But I'm hearing that he's refused to come because he doesn't want to come to be a number 2 to any player. And Arlo Silva says that Chelsea currently is negotiating with MLS club New England Revolution for the signing of Georgi Petrovic. I think we've talked about that as competition for Robert Sanchez following the exit of Kepa Arrizabalaga. But rumors are that Petrovic doesn't want to come and become number 2 to anybody. And Mara Khalil says, please let us allow Liverpool breathe. I think we should do that and be nice. Or maybe we can just be nice by shipping a trailer of t-shirts to them. I got Jackson is going to deliver. If we have to go by what we've seen so far, I think you can agree he will deliver. I don't rate Sanchez or Petrovic his not Chelsea level. I think everything comes back to what the goalkeeping coaches or trainers have suggested the club. That's what they would do. Buying Osimhen isn't easy. Raymond Mensah, not easy at all, and I don't think we'll actually try that. Delusional fan base want physical attackers over creative attackers. And it depends. It's somebody you can find a player who'd have both. Kudus linked to Manchester United. I haven't seen that myself, and I'm not too concerned. If we're not signing Kudus, I think we're fine. Just 1 second, Bobby. Even if we don't sign Kudus, I think we'll be fine in the attacking area. With signing Olise, I think Sterling is going out. And this says, not me, Coachila. Why should Boehly blame Pochettino? Yeah. Big up to you, to Santiago Muna. I hope you're doing well. Chelsea should try every of their possible means to sign Victor Osimhen. That's not possible. Just look beyond that. I have to be honest with you, Danny Barcelo. I think could is going to United. I'm not too concerned. I think if anything, I'm not sure what area. Again, maybe we should sign another number 9, given the fact that Jackson most likely will be leaving for AFCON in January or February. I'm not sure the date, the month that it starts. And Lautaro CC23, West Ham are in trouble. In what sense, I do not know. And Prene, apparently the talk has been that Olise would play as a number 10. I think even before I saw this report, if you've watched him play, he has all the attributes that will help him fulfill the number 10 role. Bobby, go ahead. You wanted to say something.
Yeah, just before I make my points, I think one of the wonderful things I'm enjoying about our transfer business, and the fact that you said that you have pointed out the fact that Lavia, he is indeed more of a box-to-box. He can play a 10. And
I've never seen him as a 6, actually.
He can certainly be an 8. He can do a 6 as well. Don't completely shut him out of that. He can do that as well. He's a real old-fashioned midfielder in that he can do a bit of everything, well, very well. And so he's an asset. He's an asset to changing tactics. I don't know why we have this sort of robotic mentality. Oh, you come in 4-3-3, and you think that's how the team is going to play from kickoff to the final whistle. No, you start off with something and then you allow for permutations within the game. You watch the top managers. They're not thinking about the in-phase play. They're thinking about the next step and who's going to come on. And, if this person's injured, what do we do about it? That's what they're thinking. And that's how we should be thinking. We can't just be so robotic and stereotypical. That used to be the age-old English problem. That's why we used to get beaten up by some of these European countries that come and they're very expansive and flexible on the field. But we have learned from that, certainly in the national team. And we as Chelsea fans need to learn from that in our club. That's why we need elite managers, because they come in with these expansive multi-thinking mentality, not just put this player in the box and he can't do anything else. No, that was why I was really happy with them trying to get Gallagher to double in as a 6, and he does a good job. He's not a specialist there, but he's good enough and he's improving. So that I just wanted to get that in there about Lavia. But listen, the number 9, I'm happy we're not in a rush. I'm really happy. And I'll be very, very hesitant for us to go into some sort of further transfer financial saga with people, which will happen if we go for Osimhen. And, the striking area is a very delicate thing for us, especially for us at Chelsea. We've been there with the big expenditure, although it was the wrong expenditure with Lukaku. And several others, we've spent, sizable sums on attackers. Morata didn't quite work out. Torres before him. Yes, we've had successes, but we have had a lot of duds, even before Roman Abramovich. So I think the way forward for us is more with the unknowns or the lesser people. People like maybe Ivan Toney, but will have a problem with his fitness and match preparedness after being out for so long. and others that are not known. I'm quite interested. I've spoken up about Marcus Burstro, and people are all up in arms. Oh, Mason Burstro. Oh, he's only 18. He needs game time, and probably so. But this is what City does. City gets these youngsters. They bring them on to the first team every now and then, and they leave them mainly in the under 23s. So I see nothing wrong in doing that with Burstro. He could be supporting with Jackson, and he could actually play ahead of Jackson, certainly in some of the cup games against the so-called lesser teams. Another thing I'm very, very interested in, I mean, he's going to complete his medical today, David D. Washington. I hope he doesn't have any work permit issues. I hear he has some sort of dual nationality. I don't know. That'll need to be cleared. But I'm hearing rumblings that he's quite capable of playing as a striker in the first team. I would love that because nobody knows him. The Chelsea fan base are going to come with, oh, what are you doing with this 18-year-old? Moaning as usual. Oh, he shouldn't be there. He should. But the guy, I have heard, and I won't claim to know much about him, is better than Jackson. This is what I've heard. So whether it's true or not, I don't know. So if he's good enough, he's old enough. And if he can do that striking job for us, I think that would be the perfect solution. We don't have to go for big names. People are seeing Brozier training with the first team and they think, oh, he's going to come and join us next month. No, forget Brozier. I'm not even thinking about Brozier till about this time next season. He hasn't had a pre-season. That would have been in fact, the fact that he was unable to do the pre-season after having been in the club not playing for a year is testimony to the fact as how far away from being ready he is. I would be extremely surprised if I see him so much as even touch the bench for the first team. That injury is not a small injury, and the road back is a long, long road, and not many players actually make it. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Bobby. Roger, I'll get to you in a bit. I want to ask you an important question based on what Bobby just talked about. I like the fact that Coachila remembers me. I do remember everybody as long as you're on Ochi here. And Jakarta, I don't want to sell Gallagher now. I'm not too sure what's going to happen right now. But let's wait and see. After seeing the commitment he had shown in last game, he may not be perfect in technicality, but we also need a few guys like this who puts 120%. Yep, you have that in every team, and I wouldn't mind him being the guy for us. When is Olise still finished? In a few days, we're told, but the deal is imminent. Omar, be rest assured that would be the case. I think we may well be, but I'm not too sure right now. But nice to see you. I hope you're doing well, Rashi. I appreciate you finding the time to join. We don't have a creative attackers. We don't have any, I have to be honest. And that's one of the players maybe we're still looking. We don't know. The owners, they've done enough for me not to be too worried about our transfer activities. If we really need one, chances are they're working on it right now. When you face up face up different teams in the Premier League, different styles of play would be more useful to you. You can switch up every other week. Yep, that makes you can say unpredictable. You can always switch up things. You can say switch personnel because given the way the opposition plays. This says, imagine mentioning Osimhen with all the money Chelsea have spent. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. 324. Appreciate you. And Choma, I remember, maybe I just breezed it through your contribution in the chat without saying hello to you. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. I know you're probably on your way to work. If we need two players in every position and can play 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, 3-5-2, or 3-4-2-1 formations, in cup games, injuries, etc., we we would keep 6 midfielders: Leslie, Casado, Enzo, Lavia, Santos, and Gallagher. But you have to bear in mind the total number of players that the manager wants to keep. That's a factor you have to consider when making that particular decision there. But that's by the way. Let's see. Buy another striker. I think we may well have to do that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. And Mr. Troublemaker CFC, and nice to see you. Bobby is right. Game tactics changes every situation. Sometimes game tactics and formation changes. I agree with you. Everybody agree. You must be in a tighter race after spending. Yeah, but we don't. I get it. Why are you putting pressure on us now? Roger, let's talk about this. Bobby, he's already spoken about it, but I want you. I want to get your opinion on that. Jackson most likely will leave for AFCON come January. And is it every year now? I think is AFCON every year now. If it's every 2 years, when was the last one played? I'm not too sure. But the fact, even if it doesn't leave the coming year, if it can, do you think we can? Even without that in mind, do you think we need another striker, or do you think we're good to go?
Honestly, Coach, I think it all depends on Broja. I heard what Bobby said, but you have to realize everyone's body is different. Seriously, sometimes a person can respond. It all depends on their genetics, also their DNA. Some people heal faster than others, so it depends on the medical staff, how they believe he's progressed, how he's recovered fully, and all the implications that are implied, with trying to recover. Bobby's right, though. You have to be conservative, pragmatic, careful. You can't rush a player back. So I think Broja holds the key as to whether we get anyone. Probably he won't be back till at least December, January timeframe, and then that's the physical aspect. And that's without any complications, shall we say? But also the psychological thing. When you have a devastating injury like this, some people never recover psychologically, and are never the same player mentally, if that makes sense. So
in a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if the chap is able to recover in all aspects, then we won't need another player. But in all likelihood, I think the greater probability is we probably do. But I'm not sure. Listen, because God forbid Jackson goes down, pulls a hammy or something. Where does that leave us? Sterling? Are you kidding me? Shoot me now. It's seriously, you can kiss your season goodbye.
So you're saying most likely we may well
percentage wise, I'd give it probably 75+%. We need to get one, maybe more. But then again, we have, I just listen. Who can play as a number 9 really for us, other than Broja? It's possible we can have a false 9, and Cuckoo could turn out to be a very clinical individual, but he lacks height, physicality. He's not your prototypical number 9. He just isn't. And I think we need to understand that. But how are we financially with regards to financial fair play and sustainability, profit and sustainability? What kind of impact do we have? Do we have to sell, like, for instance, a Gallagher, etc., to allow us to shall we say, purchase or explore this option? So there's many variables and factors involved that, let's be honest, we're not privy to. But assuming we can afford it, and/or we have to offload other players to do so, then it would be irresponsible for us not to. A, because of the African nations, and B, in case of, God forbid, yes, we're not playing European football this year, but can you really honestly put your season and rely on someone? I think it's naive at best, stupid at worst to do so.
Yeah, I think we should. We should get another number 9. But that doesn't mean we should go get another number 9 and get, you can say, what
how much did we buy
some
Jackson
section
for?
of the fan base call a backup. That's how you rack up. Let's say you pile up. That's how you start piling up what we call deadwoods. But go ahead with what you were saying.
We paid like 37 million euros, 30 million pounds for him. So I would like our scouting department, our football directors, etc., to be on the same page and identify another person of Jackson's ability. I'm sure they don't grow on trees, obviously. Just ask Bayern Munich right now, or Tottenham for that matter. But if they can find someone that can get us 10, 15 goals a year, then why not? But he has to bring physicality to that position. He can't be a false number 9, in my opinion. I mean, there are exceptions to this, don't get me wrong. Man City's, what was his name? Aguero. I mean, that guy scored goals in his dreams. So, but that's the exception, not the rule.
All right. Good morning, Coach. I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining. Don Raymond, thank you so much for joining. Let's see what else we have here. Adebayo Malcolm, I appreciate you joining the show, brother. I hope you're doing well. Blue Family, Coachila, I mentioned about Pedro Neto the other day. He's head and shoulder better than Kudus and Olise. Premiership experience. Remember him. Decimating us prior to his injury. But if is he injured right now? And if you're saying he decimated, you're sounding like he's not the same anymore. But I'm not. I'm sure that's you just overall saying that he's good. But
by the way,
I'm going by your comment there, I'll conclude that you're saying he's not as good as he was before he got injured. We're not too sure what player the club, you say Todd, Boehly and co are looking at right now. But I trust them to do the right thing. They've done enough for me not to be worried at all. Even before they signed, the players have signed, you can say, before they signed Moses Caicedo, Romeo Lavia, and all the players have signed this window, I wasn't concerned. All I've said is that, we have to be strategic in the market. And if we are, then we may well do better than a lot of people expect us to do in the coming season. So there's a chance we're looking at him, but we don't know. But more importantly, Adebayo, nice to see you. Roger, were you saying something?
Yeah, I just looked it up. African Cup of Nations is biannual, and this year, so it's every other year. This year it's in Ivory Coast. So it's 2003. The next one is 2005. So
yeah, so he'll be leaving for Afghan in January.
Yeah, I'm looking for the dates. I can't see any dates right now, but I'm sure it's somewhere.
So as long as he's hosting, at some point he leaves before the season ends. So no need to be specific with the dates. So it's usually around January, February.
Yeah, I was just trying to be pedantic.
Yeah. They had a bit of, you can say, scheduling issue due to COVID at one point. But that's, by the way, the foundation of any team is the goalkeeper, defense, and midfield. Keep them solid and healthy. We have a chance. You don't build a house from top to bottom, but bottom to top. I think I agree with you, and I think we're working on that. Let's see what else we have here. I agree with you, Coach. Broya ain't clinical enough. His back average. I didn't say that. But I'm just saying we're not too sure whether he was going to come back the same. And Bobby echoed the same thing. And I think Roger did as well. So we're not going to trust him to be the one to carry us, him and Jackson alone to be the ones to carry us through the season. Next one else we have here, and Chama said, "A big up to you, I appreciate you." Because I'm starting late today. It's my first daughter's birthday today. Hey, wow!
Congratulations!
Is she watching? Please shout out to her so that she can join Chelsea, and we have to use the fireworks. We do that all the time, and I'm just gonna go with the name Chama's daughter, Chama's first daughter. If you're watching, happy birthday to you. Your mom told us it's your birthday. Here's some fireworks for you. Today you become a year older. I'm not too sure how old your age, that what age you become, how old you become today, but more importantly, you become a year smarter. That was what I wanted to say. Congratulations and happy birthday to you. And if you're watching, yeah, happy birthday to you. And please become a Chelsea supporter if you're not one already. But we love your mom. We respect her so much. She's one of us. And we appreciate the fact that she's told us that it's your birthday. So happy birthday to Chama's first daughter. Enjoy your birthday and please remain a good girl. I'm sure your mom is very proud of you. So, Roger, you want to say happy birthday to Chama's first daughter?
Exactly. Yeah, now get back to your homework and do your calculus right now. You're only one.
But more importantly, enjoy today. No homework today, even if you have one. Yeah.
Seriously, being a parent is the best job in the world. It's a great thing. Well done. Congratulations. You must be proud.
Yeah, and happy birthday to you, more importantly. Chama, thank you for letting us know. We enjoyed that so much because we operate as a family. Broya is not ready, and I don't think that's from Mr. Troublemaker. I don't think he will ever be. Wow. I know he's a special talent, but that was also Ruben loves his chicken. He never came back from who he really was, given that injury.
Different injuries.
Your argument is driven by the fact that he was injured. He's been out for a while with an injury. We need a competition for Jackson. That's for sure. I think we know that. Very upset, Rafael. We didn't get Vlahovic. If he didn't have a great season at Juventus, but he's still a complete striker. I don't think the reason we didn't get him is whether he's good or not. There may well be other reasons that maybe his injury record, or maybe we just don't want to spend that much on him because of how much Juventus are asking. Good signing for Chelsea. Beelan Moses, I appreciate you joining. Let's see what else we have here. Good morning to you too, Mason. Nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. And the beautiful game. Much love to you, brother. He says, "Big up, coach. Why is everyone so scared of a title race? Have you seen the competition? City is the only club that concerns me. If we are more clinical in front of goal, we have a team we have teams on the run." I think I agree with you, but that's just me not trying to be specific. And you had to call him out, call me out. What we did to Liverpool on and off the pitch this weekend was embarrassing and will be talked about for years to come. I back my team and expect us to finish in the top four. The manager says we want to win the title. We're in it to win it. Enzo said that. Benchwell has said that. You can say that's a mindset everywhere. Arsenal won't spend another 247 days at the top this time, and United are running out of officials. Brian.
Oh my God!
Wow. And this is a Chama again. She's 14. Oh, wow. Happy birthday to you once more, Chama's daughter. We go by that. Your mom, I'm sure, for privacy reasons, didn't want to share your name. But congratulations and happy 14 to Chama's first daughter. Keep growing. And yeah, I'm sure she's proud of you, which is why she had to even tell us to shout you out. Tommy Bryan, he told me when he left a comment saying he's coming back for Roger. Coach, miss you guys. We miss you too. We know probably you've been busy working, and we totally understand bills don't pay themselves, especially the foul play from Rogerdinho and the beautiful game. Welcome back. Much love to you. We had a technical problem. And no worries, Shama. That's what we do. We're family here, and you're very welcome to always tell us requests as such on here. We respect you so much, and we do appreciate you. Let's see what else we have here, and that's from Chelsea all the way, responding to Rashid 10. And Rafael says, wow, we didn't want to meet the demands of Juventus, but we always meet the demands of Brighton. It depends on our priority. It depends on our priority, and maybe we're looking at some other striker we don't know. And everything comes down to what the manager wants. It's as simple as that. Did I hear Romeo Lavia is not at Chelsea? Yep, you could argue that. I think that one counted as done. Smash the like button and subscribe if you're new here. I appreciate you all. 133 likes already, and we're just 1 hour, 22 minutes into the show. It looks like we're going to get to 300 today. Keep dropping the likes on the stream with the likes to go a long way. what embarrassing, in my opinion, is Chelsea signing an incomplete DM like Casado. Okay, you like to differ, and that's okay. Will we get 60 goals this season? Maybe, I don't know. Thomas Bass, more importantly, nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Let's see anything else to address here before we move to the next item here. From what I am seeing and sensing, it's like we are underrating Leslie. Not me, not the manager, and there's no way to conclude that. It's just, and I'm glad you're saying from what you're seeing and sensing, it's your opinion. We need that disclaimer right there. There's a chance he stays, there's a chance he lives on loan. It's as simple as that. Let's see. I heard Carney is going out to loan. At this point, it's just rumors. We don't have too many people capable of fulfilling the 10 role, and he's one of those. Talvin Chamari, hi to you too. I hope you're doing well. Roger, anything else you want to add, or should we move on to the next topic so we can knock them out as soon as possible? School have started, so there's a chance somebody breaks down my goal.
Go for it.
All right. Let's see the next item we have lined up here, so we're going to address it. But I know, again, you can say the feel-good factor is back within the Chelsea community right now. Let's see the next item we have lined up here, so we can move on to the next one. Right, breaking news at Chelsea and Crystal Palace have an agreement over Michael Olise. I know they're complaining that we're tapping him up. I'm not too sure what to make of that. They complain that we're tapping the player up. I am honestly not too sure. The player wants to come to us, maybe because our approach of trying to get the player to agree to come to us, or maybe to find out whether the player really wants to come to us before we reach the club. But Bobby did explain that we do both simultaneously, so that we let the club know, okay, we're coming for this player and we're already talking to him. I'm not too sure what to make of this. I think that they just beat him. They like him. He's one of their best players. And I'm not too sure. Roger, you have anything to say about that? I'm not sure what to make of it, really.
About Olise?
Yeah, Palace complaining that we're tapping him up or something.
Yeah, it's probably true to a certain extent. This happens, whether it's back channel communications or wherever. It's part of the game. It goes on. It has gone on, and probably will always continue to go on. It's that simple. Unless they put strict rules in place, because what you have to do is, Bobby used the term tertiary before, and it's so true. You have backdoor. You have I don't know what level, but you have like one of our employees up our office who contact their agent or someone indirectly, especially you have someone in common that or from the same country. This happens, and if you don't want it to happen, then the regulatory bodies that may, the powers that be, they have to basically stop it, prevent it. By how can you do it though? You can't say, listen, you chaps can't talk. It's that simple. There's always going to be some level of quote unquote tapping up. There is. It's part of the game. They're probably.
What sort of trouble can the club get since we're hearing that they're planning to report us to the FA? You can say, is that a problem, really? For lack of a better way to ask that question.
Listen, yeah, is it a problem? Yeah, it could be. I doubt it, though, but they'll try to throw the book at us, as Bobby will, I'm sure, back me up on that. You walk on the cracks of the pavement, they're going to get you for it.
Bobby, if you're still there, the question, I'm sure you heard the question. If they report us to the FA, and the FA you can investigate, and it turns out that we did Palace are accusing us of what consequences could that lead to?
To be honest, Coach, I'm not really taking this seriously. I think we've all been Chelsea fans long enough to know that when we have our rivals rattled, They come at us with a multi-pronged attack. They throw every negative, anything they think they can find, which could be a destabilization at the club. I'm not even sure of the truth behind this. It doesn't particularly make any sense. I can understand their being upset that we found out about the release clause, but that's down to them, not down to Chelsea. It doesn't even sound like Crystal Palace. You know, we've done a lot of good business with Palace in the past. We're still doing business with Palace. It sounds to me like some Liverpool fan or some Arsenal fan, or maybe even some of our detracting Chelsea fans has looked at this, put out a story, hope to get clicks and rattle people, and that's it. I don't see anything in this. If it was serious, then we'll come to know, but it doesn't make any sense.
But Bobby, if I may, you know, I think they are rattled, especially in the Premier League. They've seen what we can do financially.
Our rival fans?
Well, no, some clubs and fans alike. Yeah, it's like I listen. I'm not going to advertise for a certain stream, but I believe he's a Man U fan, and it's called the Football Terrace. If you ever watch it,
Terry Flood.
Yeah, there you go.
No, he's very. To be fair to him,
very objective. My opinion, but go ahead, Roger. Let's hear what you want to say. We don't want to do a tapping on you.
Yeah, and basically, I think it was yesterday I watched it, and he had a show called Chelsea Scare Me, and it lasted about, I don't know, 6-7 minutes.
Yeah, I watched that too.
And so when you hear that coming from a rival football club and a supporter and a base fan, it's like I think he summed that up very well and quite eloquently. You know, he was quite respectful, but he's seeing.
Roger, I really don't mind people, you know, speaking their concerns, and you know that's football. You know, we do it ourselves when we spoke of City before their financial improprieties was highlighted. It's normal, but what I am against is there is this covert, jealous, spiteful, nasty.
Well, that chap wasn't on that show.
No. Terry never is.
Yeah,
he never is. He's always very respectful of Chelsea. He's a Man U fan through and through, but he's very objective, and that's why he gets a lot of interaction with all fans. He doesn't particularly. He's not spiteful. He's not vindictive.
He's analytical, and he's insightful. He's informative, and
he is.
But seriously, I think that I don't know, 7 to 10 minute show that I watched, I thought it summed everything up.
I think it was 10 minutes. The duration.
Yeah, I mean, and he did another one this morning. But what we must call out is, as I keep saying, this spiteful, malicious side.
Oh yeah,
we have it in the media. No, we have it in the mainstream media.
Yeah,
we have it on a lot of rival fan bases. And what really, really disappoints me is that we have it in the so-called Chelsea fan base. Some of the most spiteful things thrown at the club come from people that say they support Chelsea.
Yeah.
Now that has to stop. It's not about, oh, I need to have my say, or I should be. No, you're not having a say. You're digging at the club. You're doing things in a very malicious way. There's a difference between having an opinion and being calculated. And there's a lot of people out there that are calculated. And why I think this story is one of them is that they came at us with FFP. That was even disproved by Simon Jordan. Yes. Simon Jordan doesn't give a rat's ass about Chelsea.
Did you listen to him a couple of days ago, how he explained?
I did, but one thing about him is that he's objective. He's
experienced. He's been an owner of a Premier League team. He understands the financial ramifications of virtually every aspect of the game, and so he adds a lot of insight based on his experience, Bobby. And I think it's good to hear those kind of things. And I just want to say, I think we genuinely And this, I think prior to the Caicedo purchase, I think we were rattling a lot of cages. I'm talking about other teams and their hierarchy, not so much the fan base. I'm not really too bothered about them. But now that we've acquired this week, I think they're looking at their own, shall we say, strategies, and they're probably looking at themselves and like, wow, these chaps have come in as complete newbies to this organization, the sport, especially this league, and they've identified what to address and how do we overcome it. And I think they're rattled, and rightfully so, because I think, listen, I've heard so many other players that are former players from other clubs and so forth, and they've even adjusted their predictions now, and they're saying we could be a force, and I believe that's the case. Listen, we have rose-colored glasses on for the most part, but I think we're mature enough and cerebral enough to understand, that we can try to be as objective as possible. And I honestly can say, hand on heart, so to speak, that I think the next few years it's going to be incredible. But I think we're going to look back on these last 7 days and say this was pivotal. This week was in the history of Chelsea, potentially. I really do.
All right, let me catch up with what we have there, please. Chelsea insist their average for Olise has been above board following following reports that Crystal Palace are unhappy over concerns that the winger may have been tapped up. We're saying that's not the case. Raphael, why do people have no problem paying 115 for Moises Caicedo? We have pulled out. And we have pulled out for every other. Don't say a City spend now. They spend smartly on complete players like KDB. Here's the thing. I get how you're feeling. A lot of Chelsea fans didn't actually want Chelsea to pay that much money. But the moment Liverpool came in, you could argue a lot of Chelsea fans equally didn't want us to let Liverpool take the player from us. But that's why we move on from that. Like Chris Shaw, Norton says, what if what I feel is they just want money. Money is simple. 35 million is way too little, especially in this market. And for talent like Olise, so they're unhappy he gets to go, and we're paying hundreds of millions, 100 million plus for other players we signed. Olise is what you can say as good as those players are, maybe has the potential to do even better than them.
Coach.
But unfortunately for them, they have a buyout clause on this contract. Go ahead, Roger.
I think that's the crux of the matter. That's the issue. You hit the nail on the head. I believe it's because his release clause isn't 50 plus million. I would love to see what his current market value is, based on his ceiling and etc. What it is now.
I think he's an excellent player.
I'm sure it's above 35 million. And I understand he's recovering from a hammy, but I'm talking about what would be the market price for him? It's probably 50 plus.
It depends. But again, I think if a player that Pep Guardiola wants, that shows you how good he is.
Checkmate.
Olise is closing in on a move to Chelsea Football Club. Fabrizio Romano specifically said Olise's move to Chelsea is imminent. Chelsea, after the Blues activated his release clause with an offer of around £35 million, I can say, let's see what you have there, Coach. Please watch Husam's Liverpool streams from last night, where he gets roasted for an hour straight for his bored, shameless behavior. Scousers are embarrassing. Snitches, but we love to see it. They push Chelsea fans, even those that didn't want us to pay that much money for Caicedo, to say, just go ahead and pay it. Some stupid, no, be careful the term you're using now, saying Vlahovic's swap helps Juventus. Well, how it helps them too, because they wanted Lukaku. So it helps them. You can't count that out. We're getting a young elite striker, and we are giving away an old incomplete striker. Here's the thing, Lukaku fits how I know Allegri likes to play. So it's win-win. Had it happened, it would have been win-win for both the parties, in my opinion. I'm still waiting for the day when a midfielder doesn't misplace passes, even pick Iniesta, Xavi, misplaced passes, even in computer games. This is
Coach,
modern day fans. Yeah, I think I agree with you. No footballer is perfect. Just to simplify that. And Peter Pan, I hope we forgive Lukaku and make him the backup striker for next season. Yeah, I keep praying. Maybe that will happen. Let's see, Lucas Levi. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope you're doing well. Punishment for tapping includes a fine, a 2-year ban from signing players in the EPL. Wow, I didn't know that. But I don't think that's the case, really. Big up to Terry. Yep, I agree with you. Always objective. Let's see, Rafael, Roger, bro. As a Chelsea fan, we did waste money on Caicedo when there are way better and cheaper alternatives. Don't say there are zero. I'm coming. Don't say there are zero alternatives. And that would be disingenuous.
First of all,
your opinion, but go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, first of all, I never said there were better alternatives. Listen, you're entitled to your opinion, and I respect that, just like I am and everyone else is. However, to say they are way better, I think, based on the definition of this term in the English language, I would say I beg to differ. Because way better means that there are vastly superior players that are this kind of in this position. And I think if you ask players, shall we say, people that are in this profession and they do it for a living, I think they would disagree with that statement. And for way cheaper, I beg to differ. I think that's hyperbolic, to put it mildly.
I was going to say, sorry, guys, I had a phone call, so it cut me off when I was talking. But I think you're 100% right. Yes, you're entitled to your opinion, and indeed, this is an opinion. Yes. But I think a lot of people use that I'm entitled to an opinion as a smokescreen.
So there's a really...
The smokescreen to say, shut up and let me attack your club.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. And that's why sometimes some of these opinions need to be called out. And Roger's right. You can't just say, oh, there's so many. I remember when we were going for Caicedo and people were saying, oh, there's so many other alternatives. Why are we spending all this money? I said, okay. Show us an alternative. Show us an alternative. At this particular point in time, there was no other player that would fit Chelsea better than him. None. And what we need to do is be thankful we're able to spend that money. We didn't want to, but the inflation was put upon us to take it over 100 million. So I'm not even looking at the money. And we've compensated for that with sales. And I think Ziyech is going today, apparently, if he can pass his flipping medical.
Don't tease me. So listen, I just want to say one thing. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts. That's a very famous quote by a former American politician called Patrick Moynihan, I believe. So, it's like, but I think that's factually incorrect. It's that simple,
Jesse, if you're there, your thoughts on this particular opinion on the screen.
You mean the waste of money on Caicedo? Well, okay, I wanted to talk about something which is relating to this, what Chelsea is doing a little bit, which my opinion is, but this is also related to that. Look at this. I mean, in the last 2 windows, we can say, since we have a structure in place, when we have directors and people in the know about who is a good player, who is not a good player, proper scouts in place, we have paid 100 million only on 3 players. 2 of them are Caicedo and Enzo, and they are proven. Enzo has already proven how good of a player he is. Caicedo is already proven a good footballer. The third one is Where the jury is still out is Mudrik, but the signs are good. Other than these three, most of the purchases are between 15 and 60 million, 50 million. That's very good business.
Yeah,
And if the club has shown that they have paid more for some players, they are only three, and two of them are already proven good players. So if sometimes we have to get a player to put our season in the order, okay, sometimes we have to play a little bit, but we are well covered with the other purchases. We will maybe sell some players down the years and we will earn more profit. This is nothing. Paying 100 million for one player is nothing for Chelsea.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, yeah, you very well put, JC, and hello to you, sir. But I do believe that this is ridiculous money. I'm showing my age, of course, but this is what the market bears. You know, it's demand and supply, and but honestly, it's monopoly money. It's ridiculous. But yeah, what you've said is 100% true. Well said.
Okay, let me quickly recap it, because there are 2-3 points I want to make, and maybe down in some other show or something, Coachila, we can do a little bit more elaborated.
I think that's the plan. But go ahead, you can talk about it in bit so that we can move on to the next item.
Yeah, 3 points, 2-3 points to have a food of thought about these things. Yes. What Chelsea is doing is disrupting the market, because there is no other way you can do that other than being smart about it. What they are doing is they are accumulating their investment in a shorter period, but doing it in advance for a longer period. What I mean to say is, everybody who has to operate a business has to spend some for the resources, and we are spending in one go, and maybe and then we will use it for a longer period of time. That's what you say, amortization longer or longer contracts. But remember, we are not giving 10-year contracts to somebody like Thiago, or not even somebody who's like 28 years old. We are giving contracts to 18, 19-year-old kids, where we have more than confidence that most of them will be a success. So there is no risk. This is all can be discussed later and deeper, and I can show you how this is not a risk.
Yeah, I think we should host a show on that, because a lot of people saying FFP doesn't exist, FFP is ruined, Chelsea are doing whatever they want and all that.
Spending less. Coach Coachila, I can show it. Chelsea will end up spending eventually less than some team like Manchester United over a 10-year period.
And I think there's already a list out. There's already a list out, right? And we're like in 4th place. Arsenal is a book.
Yeah, but we are doing it in a different way, and that gives us,
go ahead.
We are just disrupting the way of operating. And I still think Boehly had this plan, but he could have managed the change a little bit different, because he had to move fast. Now I understand why he had to move fast, because otherwise others will catch up. Otherwise, other will learn. Second thing is, there's this word going on: loophole. Forget about it. This is not a loophole. Actually, this is proper IFRS accounting procedures or principles. We are following rules. There is nothing like a negative word like loophole. We are following rules. If there is something crazy which is going on, is you can debate. Is UEFA went very fast in putting 5-year limits. Basically, what the UEFA rule is doing can be challenged. But the thing is, like, the people who can challenge are on the other end of the market, the employers, or on the lower end of the market. So they don't think like that. Believe me, my son is 18 years old. I would love him to have a 10-year contract, because that gives him security. And he's well set for the rest of the life. But if he's for that purpose, he will not earn a salary of 200,000 but only 100,000. I don't mind it. But the question is, why is UEFA putting a bar on the development or the safety of my son? Who the hell is UEFA to stop me from doing that? There is no loophole. Loophole is a wrong word. created by people who do not understand finance. Every company has a financial statement. Every company does amortization, and these are rules. Rules governed in US are based on rules of GAAP, and rules on the rest of the world mostly are on the principle of IFRS. There is nothing, no hidden agenda or hidden trick find out. Every company does it every day. Forget about this word loophole. It is not a loophole. It is normal operating procedures.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let me catch up with what we have so we can move on to the next item. And we do really need to talk about that in depth. A whole show dedicated to it will be awesome. Chelsea are back to V-Lane status. I think I agree with you. Liverpool are snitching on us, and Palace are complaining. You haven't heard a lot of clubs in the Premier League, you can say, planning to report us to the FA because we are better sweet talkers than everyone. Maybe that's the case, but yeah, I think the bitterness, the hate shows that we're doing something good, in my opinion. Bobby, the term you were looking for is a side chick behavior. Yeah, I agree with you. England 1, Australia 1. Thank you for that update there. Let's see what else we have here. What do we have? Just some conversations there. Let's see. Emojis, you cannot use more than 3, Rashi. You use just 2 emojis at max. Then it's not going to delete your message. Also, Man City plays Sevilla tonight in the UEFA Super Cup. Yep, one. I don't want to miss that. Everyone is blue now. Yep, I agree. Which is sports are also wearing blue now. Afraid of so they're hijacking our color. Tawari, I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you joining the show. And this is Hedson. Boehly says, for me, it's really a amazing season of Chelsea due to our signings. Both of them are future players. You could argue that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 151 likes, 49 more to get it to 200. Let's make it happen. I appreciate all your sports. No other updates that coach expect one, except one. A Celtic are interested in signing a Wolves player. Okay, thank you for that update. And Sahal, Safwan, we don't have a playmaker. I think we need one, and be rest assured the club are working on it. So I agree with you, Safwan. Safwan, we need a playmaker. We need one. Such a good transfer window so far. Yep, but we need a playmaker like Safwan safe there. Collington, welcome back, coach. You were missing in action yesterday. Yep, due to some unforeseen technical issues, and I wasn't able to sort it out immediately. The past few days have been amazing for Chelsea. Reminds me of 2003. You can argue. I think that was after Romano brought. What after who? When did Roman Abramovich take over? Was it 2003? I'm not too sure. But 2002. With a release clause, you don't need to talk with the club. You just activate it. Yep. You just pay him, and the player is yours. If the player gives us the green light, it's done. And Olise, I'm hearing he's giving us the green light. To all the Chelsea fans that do not be scared of FFP. Chelsea already signed enough players that can take us at least for 5 seasons. And besides that, they have studied the loopholes before they embarked on that journey. And we have Hedson who says, I definitely believe if Chelsea can get a winger like Michael Olise through a topical analysis by the fans, we will definitely win the title. Wow. A department, okay, keep okay, all we need. Yeah, thank you for that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. The likes do go a long way. Says here, this will be boring. Then no one to orchestrate behind the striker and Nkunku injured. Yeah, but I think we need a 10. We don't need a playmaker, in my opinion. Enzo is a playmaker, but Enzo is a deep line playmaker. Except if the manager converts him to a 10 or an 8, that will be fine. Gets us extra striker. Get us extra striker. Romeo Lavia in. Another good goalkeeper. Then we look set up for the upcoming season. You could argue that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Let's see what else we have here. Anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to move to the next item we have lined up. Mark says, coach, in 2004, Arsenal accused Chelsea for tapping up Ashley Cole, and I think Chelsea was punished and that made Arsenal to hate us more. Okay, Chelsea wasn't punished. Okay, let's see, Sean, you do. Okay, just a conversation there. And Gabriel Orbas looking from the outside. No way you know better than the club. Again, club directors and recruitment team. It's as simple as that. And as I've said, I'm quite sure whatever that's happening, they have people behind the scenes crunching the numbers, making sure that we don't go overboard and subsequently get into trouble. Coach, there's a saying, opinions are like, yeah. Everyone has one. The problem is some are more stinky than the others. Wow. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Enzo can score goals as well. That the fact that Kante was missing last season made it difficult for Enzo to get into areas where he can shoot. This season, Enzo will be better now that we have a fit DM. You could see he making some decisive runs into the box and all that. How much did he contribute for the purchase of Casado? Wow. Ola, 100%. Ola Frosh, I appreciate you joining. Thank you. And Bill Antonietta says we will win the chip this year. Okay. I can see everyone. I can't see everyone beating us this year with De Bruyne out for 4 months. Yeah, that's something to be aware. That will affect Man City quite a lot. Thank you, City, Arsenal, and United for funding the Casado and Lavia deals. I think they did in so many ways. Coachila, while presenting you, you have to take note. There are many undercover Arsenal, City, and United fans in the chat. I think I have to, but it's up to you. You are, you can say part of the, you can say you're the ones that if you figure out, just do something about it. As soon as someone says I am a Chelsea fan, they say something of a house this divided could never stand, no matter who's better out there. Poch has to know who can gel in our team. It's up to him. That's why I've always argued everything comes down to the manager. And a lot of people miss on that. Our project is on, and believe me, it will come out good. Just trust me. Good morning to you too, more importantly, and everyone in the community. I appreciate you joining, brother. Hopefully, we get your channel up and running in the proper way so people can go check it out. We are moving like Brooklyn last season, but our case is different. We're not broke, but we have the money that we're spending. And to all you rivals, check out our sister channel. Go and subscribe. You'd enjoy it there. Undercover, I knew that was the word you meant to type there. One love to you all. Lucas Levi, one love to you too. Appreciate you joining. And Tony Bryan, coach, a bit off topic. I really hope David Washington becomes a success. He will make us deadly. I don't know him that much to argue whether I think that will be the case, but let's see what happens. A big up, coach. CAA Mafia, I haven't seen you in 1,000 years. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this morning, brother. How are you doing? Please do let me know. And Lamin Bass, Chelsea are back at work. A team of the century, incredible. All departments okay. Maybe a traditional 10. We are definitely challenging for the title. I think we can at this point. But yeah, you know, I've been reluctant to predict where I think we'd finish come the end of this season. Number 25 is back. Yep, he is back. I meant, again, complete players unlike Casado. Okay, let's see what else we have here, coach. Morning, Lavia, Casado, Olise, coach. This is feeling like early Roman days with Boehly. Hopefully, Poch can achieve with this team and build a legacy. I think he will. Plus, he has a point to prove. He has to show that it wasn't him. He wasn't the reason why he didn't get to win something at Sports. It was probably down to Daniel Levy not investing properly on the squad. But that's just my opinion. My concern, Adebayo Marco Jr., nice to see you once more, my brother. My concern is that our wingers do not contribute enough goals, enough goal threats and goals. Our defenders always outscore them. It's a concern, but I think that changes, and we did see signs during the preseason that will change quite a lot. Chelsea has a lot of clinical, young, talented players, We don't have to sell them, but we can loan them because of any FFP rules. We can survive for 6 years with what we have now without a headache. Here's the thing. I am not advocating for Russell to breach the rules and then because we'll be fine for the next 10, 20 years. One thing you have to be at the back of your mind is this. The punishment is not constant. They can decide it means you get relegated and it's going to happen. So they're not stupid. If the punishment is constant, clubs will season after season be breaking the rules and ready to face the consequences of whatever. Let's see England through to the final. Congratulations to them. Chelsea midfield of 3-0 is they are again. I love them. All the BS from all the Premier League clubs. What about Man City? They are winning everything, and there are claims that they have. They've been cheating. Why is nobody complaining about that? That's a good question, really. If a 4-3-3 ends, Caicedo and Lavia works, where do we put Nkunku? It depends. He can play as a 9 on the day, so it depends. The manager, it's his job to figure out that, and not me. Coach, yesterday I met a hardcore Penzo fan. I criticized Penzo, and he got angry with me. He got angry. He got angry at every joke you made. I think, you're entitled to your opinion, Raphael. Big up to you too, Walter Moregbo. Nice to see you. Big up, Coach. Chelsea needed to win the league again. Not at end. Top 4 is settled. Okay, settled maybe. Who was it? 25? 25. I think Caicedo wears number 25. Who was? I don't remember really. Let's see what we have here. Raphael. Okay, what else do we have here? Keep dropping the likes on the shit, people. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up to see how soon we can knock them out and maybe start taking your questions. Let's see here. David Washington has signed a contract and completed medical as new Chelsea player. Official statement: soon as deal finally signed with Santos for 2005 born striker to join Chelsea on 16 million euros plus 4 million euros in add-ons. Here we go, confirmed. The question is, if you know him too well, what do you think happens? Do you well enough, maybe? Do you think he stays or do you think he goes out on loan? Honestly, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. I don't know him that well to argue whether I believe he stays on loan or whether he stays or leaves on loan, really. But someone saying he's a good striker. How good is he? I do not know, and I'm not going to comment further on that. I think Bobby talked about him a bit. That he heard his hearing, or maybe he's heard that he's better than Jackson. We need another striker. That's all that matters. If he's good enough to stay, then I'm eager to. You can say I can't wait to see what he's capable of doing. Roger, I don't know if you have anything to add to comment with regards to also signing David Washington. That's a weird way to spell David.
Yeah. Yeah. How old is he again?
It's not there, but he's still a teenager too.
Yeah, he's very young. I've heard very good things about him. His ceiling is very high, and this is what they're doing. They, meaning Chelsea, the directors, the scouts, they're identifying very young talent, and at the highest level for their respective age, etc. And they're identifying them and acquiring them. And listen, we're only allowed to loan out 7 players internationally. I get it. So they're cutting down on it. But however, listen, you look at Caicedo, £4.4 million bought 2 years ago, and they basically, I think it was 2,500% return on investment. And so this is what Chelsea need to do, and that's what they are doing. They're identifying these very young players that have a huge potential, a huge ceiling for this potential, and then they acquire them, and hopefully they're either very mature for the age and they'll come into the Chelsea squad, or they'll be loaned out until they are able to prove themselves and acquire the necessary experience in order to, shall we say, sharpen their skill sets, and then they can play for us, or we move them on at a profit. You know, we buy someone for £20 million, maybe they're worth 25, 30 million in 2-3 years, and if we, shall we say, ascertain that they don't believe that there will be Chelsea quality, then they can make a profit on them, sell them on. You know, because don't forget, you buy someone for 20 million now, they'll be worth 30 plus in 2 to 4 years. So you're making a profit on them. So it's good. I like this philosophy. You know, I really do. It's I think it's a more scientific approach than what was done by the previous administration, where we just acquired players and just put them out on loan. If we can,
it's nothing new, really.
No, this isn't reinventing the wheel. You know, it's but I like the RB model. You know, the City model that many other sports and many other franchises do, and I think this is good. We need to probably. We don't own a Portuguese team, do we?
No, we don't.
There's
we
one
own
in
just
the
one
pipeline
right now.
Strasbourg.
There's one in the pipeline.
Yeah.
I've forgotten their name.
Yeah. And then we probably need a Brazilian one. And actually, I would really love for us to have a Belgium team, because Belgium, for the size of their country, just similar to Ecuador, they produce such technical players, and it's been proven you can compete in that league, you're going to do well, you know. So
yeah. Bill Antonelli says, I don't want to hear a top four. We have the team to win it all this year. We had Liverpool at 34% of possession without Moises and Lavia. Okay, if that's what you believe, you have every right to do so. I see this Chelsea young squad doing well this season. I hope so. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to address those. He's definitely going on loan to Strasbourg. But what I'm seeing from Simon Phillips right now is that we'll now take our time to weigh whether to keep him or send him out on loan. He is a 2005, which is 18 years old, so he's still a teenager. But if it's good enough, it's good enough.
Who's this? Because I missed.
We're talking about David Washington.
Washington.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if he stays. I'm hearing a lot of positive things about this.
That's what I heard.
Possibly, yeah. Like I said, if he's good enough, I think he stays. Plus, we have a need in that department, so that may well happen. Let's see. Other club fans are envious of our owners' ambition. I think they are.
Yes.
If they have to be honest, but they will never be honest. They'd rather, you can say, keep shouting foul.
Coach, they're envious and very worried.
Yeah, they are.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. If we're not going to get a new striker, we should keep Washington, because we don't know how Broya is going to be after a long-term layout injury. I think we should be careful. Jerry, nice to see you. I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. It's that time of the year, as he always says. That's his ID. Keyshawn, nice to see you, brother. Kamabil, I think everything will be all right. Roger, the previous ownership invested in academy and made money out of it. And they did buy a big player. If academy wasn't providing EG the quest for a striker, the new owners look at youth everywhere. I think let's see what they do. Belgian League champions points at the end of the season is more like a stalemate on points. Okay, average compared to games played here. I'm not too sure what to make of that. Apologies to you. Multiple ownership, Roger. Do you see it coming at the horizon? We are gradually building a pool of talent for it already for the future. And I think I agree with you. I believe one of those cups will have our name on it by the end of the season. I think you can say we have a good enough squad. Plus, we're still signing. According to Fabrizio Romano, he says don't count Chelsea out. Chances are we'll still sign more players. I believe in Jackson, but wouldn't mind Vlahovic. but we have to have more players. What if something happens to Jackson? Belgium League is good for loans. Union was a club in second division, and Tony Bloom bought the club. Okay, bought the club 3 years ago, and now they compete for the title 2 years in a row, first division. Wow, good pieces from Tony Bloom there. Maybe we have somebody on the panel that knows David Washington very well. I'm going to come to you, Dakota Chesterbeho. I hope you're doing well. How well do you know Washington?
Say again?
How well do you know David Washington? Do you think he's ready for the first team? Because he's a striker and we need a striker.
From what I've seen so far, I don't think he's ready for the first team. I don't want to lie. Even Santos just promoted him recently, if I'm correct. So I don't think he's ready for the first team. But again, if the club are willing to take a risk, why not? Maybe they've seen something that we haven't seen yet. They may take a risk, but for me personally, I don't think it's ready.
Okay, thank you for your honesty there, Bobby. It looks like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. By the way, Jose is correct with what he said, really. I wanted to say something about buying players. You know, everybody seems to be so surprised. Oh, Chelsea are buying more players. Chelsea are buying more players. We have to remember that Chelsea have gotten rid of an entire first team and some. We've cleared out everything. In fact, if you look at our team now, there's only 2 players from the former team. 3 if you include Chalobah, James, Chilwell and Chalobah. Just 3 players. 2 of them are regulars, 1 isn't. So it's been a massive overhaul.
It's an overhaul. It's a rebuild. Complete.
Absolutely.
Another. Yeah.
So it shouldn't surprise anybody that we're buying. What we're doing is replacing a lot of players that have gone.
Yep, but they're not paying attention. They care. It's a shouting foul from here to next country saying Chelsea. You can say we're cheating. Tamidayo Rokemi, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Good afternoon to you too. Messi is about to win his first trophy in MLS. What an impact he's made actually in just how many games he's played for them right now. Keisha, nice to see you, brother. Chelsea is destined for a top 3 finish, no doubt about it. With a mouth-watering squad and a world-class manager. Who else can challenge our claim to be the third to finish the third? Certainly not Liverpool or United at the moment. That's what you think, but I do know we'll do well. Let's go all the way. I think we can. Matthew, nice to see you, Matthew. I hope you're doing well. What's your take on my judgments, Roger? Roger, you want to respond to that? What do you think? He's saying that Chelsea will finish a third, that no other club can challenge us for that position.
Did he say third?
Yeah, third. No, he mentioned the third, yeah.
Listen, it's possible. It all depends on other teams. If you look up the last few years, Arsenal, they did very well. And they're much better on paper this year than they were last year. How did they finish second? Well, you have the demise of Chelsea momentarily, I might add. You have, and we were depleted, let's be honest, in addition to being very poor in many areas. You look at Liverpool, they were also depleted, not to the extent Chelsea were, but they were missing players due to injury. So these are huge factors. You look at City right now, they've lost De Bruyne for 4 months. KDB is a world-class elite midfielder. Most teams that are very successful and win trophies do so with a minimal amount of injuries. You need Lady Luck. It's that simple, you know. And if City, for instance, experience 1 or 2 more injuries to key players, then guess what? They're not going to retain their title, let alone do a treble. Same for Arsenal. If Arsenal experience, we could hypothetically, if injuries are not factored in and they're not a factor, then I think we can make top 5. That's all we need to do. We need to make, I believe it's top 5, and assuming England maintain their rankings in FIFA for the coefficients ranking, because I believe 50% of a team's ranking is also based on the nations, the league, the relevant league's international team. I think it's either a third or half of it. I forget the equation. So that's a factor also. So that's why, coach, you have to be an England fan. I'm kidding.
Washington escaped me tracks. Sorry, were you still speaking? Sorry.
Yeah. So if that's the case, and we're able to qualify, we'll get 5 places next year for the UEFA Championship. If we're ranked in the top 3, I believe, in Europe, the top 2 or 3 leagues, whatever it is, I'd have to look at the rankings, how it's appropriated. So yeah, that's why. But yeah, so I think we can make it to Europe next year. I really do, if we stay relatively healthy. Also, we cannot afford to lose more players to injuries.
Yeah, we can't. Washington says it says Escape Track says Washington is going out on loan because it will be hard to get him a work permit for him. Remember, Sanchez, I think he may well be lucky because the rules has been relaxed. Have been relaxed. To what extent, I do not know. Any news on Rhys James' injury? Nothing new. Giovanni Jafta, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Appreciate you all joining out. How many likes do we have now? We have 169 likes. That's not too many to get it to 200. Let's make that happen. Waiting for
James. He's not injured.
He's not injured. No. Okay, he's not injured, right? I
remember
the manager saying he was just tired.
Yeah, he's precautionary.
Okay.
I believe that they wanted to take him off because they want to reduce the amount of minutes he plays, which is good. This is what you call great man management. This is what, with all due respect, I love Tuchel. You know that, but I believe that perhaps his naivety, just generally speaking, historically, man management for Chelsea hasn't been the greatest. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. So I'm glad that he has identified this, him and his staff, him meaning Poch, and their staff and their medical staff. They obviously meet every week and they discuss, and this is probably on the forefront, and it's a priority for them. And I welcome that. I mean, poor Kante, just use him as an example. Perhaps if there was better man management, both from Chelsea and the international coaching, then I think Kante probably would still be playing for us.
Yeah, JC says we're rebuilding at a blazing speed. I think I agree with you. Coachila, right now, I don't know if I would eat throughout the week. The transfer news that keeps coming up over the week has left me super excited and overwhelmed. Come on, Blues. I think I agree with you. I think lots of people were surprised at the speed at which we're getting these deals over the line. We're getting these deals over the line. There shall be no Boehly slander from this point on. Unfortunately, some people are waiting for the slightest, you can say, drop. You can say, let me just call it form, and you hear them. James came off against Liverpool due to injury. That's why I'm asking. No, it wasn't an injury. I think we were told he was just tired. The manager himself did say that. Some Arsenal fans Arsenal fan was joking. CFC are trusting the project now. That's a difference. Arsenal project is 7 years, but CFC are moving at a pace of project realization in 1, 2, 3 years. If not a year, that's exciting, honestly. Okay, here's an Arsenal fan there. Wasn't happy to hear you say we're going to make top 5. Chelsea had the top talents for the Belgium cohort and misused most. May we this time utilize our ownership of these talents? Okay, talented Ecuadorian cohort. I think we should.
Here.
Yeah, here indeed. Let's keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes still go a long way. Good afternoon, Coachila. Afternoon to you too, and a shout out to your panel members, Roger, Bobby, and Tabejo, my brother from the Madiba land. I think we have also another good striker in our ranks called Dujan Richards, who will turn 18 in November. Everything comes down to the manager. If he trusts him well enough to feel like that will do it, then he stays. We need an experienced new striker at Chelsea FC. Really, Moshi, nice to see you. Bible Scripts, I hope you're doing well. And Boehly made errors, e.g. Potter, but currently pace of development means those earlier mistakes will become irrelevant, provided they are achieved. I think I agree with you. I think they're making the errors. You can say it will be easier to put it behind us, and there's high chance of success with a structure in place. Yeah, thank you so much for
that's a delicious statement, as you would say, Coach. That really is.
It is. It makes sense. You said they were making up for the mistakes quicker than anybody expected them to, and you can see how much they invest in shows they really do want to do well. Sanchez took Kepa's #1 shirt, Coach. Oh, maybe that's the news just emerged. I didn't know that. Is Chilwell super fit and not injured? I'm not too sure. Roger, your input means a lot to me. He's going to use some words I'm going to find difficult.
No. Hold on. If he just put comma, then inexplicably, then that's a good. But he put full stop, period, and then inexplicably, comma. Okay, I get it.
Inexplicably. I have a hunch that Chelsea will lead the league after 10 games. I will circle back for your thoughts and analysis at the juncture. Yeah. Okay.
You're too kind, Jerry.
Yeah, a good one, Jerry. Didn't we? We cannot change shirt numbers after being registered and the season still playing. I'm not too sure what the rule. What you can do and what you cannot do. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining, Emmanuel Kinga. I appreciate you, Peter Pan. Chelsea. London is blue and always will be. Joel Junior. Chelsea will surprise many this season. You can take it to the bank. I think I agree with you too. I think we should go for Diogo Costa next. What do you think? He's been, you can say, rumors for a long time now. We've been looking at him. We've been told we've been looking at him.
Coach,
and yeah.
I would put him as our #1 priority. I mean, other than getting rid of the woolly mammoth, obviously. To me, if you want to be an elite club winning silverware, I think we would need this goalkeeper. I really do.
Yeah, plus I'm learning that he's actually good with his feet. Because that has always been my concern.
Yeah, he's quite good with his feet. I wouldn't call him Messi-esque, but he's not bad. I think he's a difference maker. Let's put it that way. What do you?
You wanted to say something?
Yeah, please.
My issue with Diego Costa, only issue, 75 million release clause. That's my only issue.
75 million pounds or euros?
I think it's pounds.
Yeah, I think so too.
75 million pounds. And but the reports reports on his valuation or maybe release clause, I think it's they're conflicting really. Some are saying it's not up to that. It's around 64 or so.
No, that's not true.
I've heard 75, but I don't know.
75.
He's expensive.
It's 75, Roger.
Yeah, but okay. For money
yes,
aside,
so that's my only issue.
Yeah, but apart from that, don't you believe he's a game difference? He's a game changer.
Yes, I agree with you. But what I'm looking for now at Chelsea, they just want Gagas Lonina to develop maybe for 2 to 3 years, while we have, for example, Sanchez or another goalkeeper that will compete with him. Then Gagas Lonina will be the main goalkeeper. But we'll never know.
But there's a big drop off from Costa to Sanchez, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think if you want to start winning, like hypothetically, if we acquire him in this window, then that gives us the possibility of winning trophies this year, next year, and so forth, until Slonina is good enough to overtake him.
Okay, guys. Since someone is talking about Thomas Tuchel, if we had Thomas Tuchel as our current manager, we would have likes of who's that? Edson Alvarez, our as our DM, some midi players.
Yeah, I
But anyway,
Oh,
guys,
God. And Roger has led, Roger and Tomo, you've led to somebody, what a lot of people are saying there. God bless you, Roger. I love TT very well too, but it's true, his man management is poor. He is selective in liking players and was responsible for the problem we had with Cowell. He left for loan unhappy. Wow.
and
Yeah.
also
Okay. Mhm.
even Ian Martin said it this other day. He said he left Chelsea because of Thomas Tuchel didn't believe in him. And for example, if we used him that time we, and then never buy Cocorella, I think it would have been good for us. But unfortunately, we're a different coach. We have a different mind of set. So I don't want to complain a lot about that. But Levi Colwell, ah man, what a baller! What a baller!
hmm
Mhm. He's a fine baller, and
And
I like him.
coach,
He can actually play in the midfield from what I've seen.
don't you think, guys, we really do need a striker now? Because I'm looking at Jackson. We can't depend a lot on Jackson while Brock is not 100% fit. For example, that game against Liverpool, we needed a different type of a striker so that maybe we can have a different tactics.
I think we've talked about that, and we all agree we need to, even with that. Let's say beyond the reasoning that we do need one to mix it up a bit. Jackson goes to Afcon in January, then we're in trouble. So I think we do need one more striker. It's up to the manager to decide the profile of striker he's looking for, in my opinion. But I think it's a good point, very important one. And that good day, coach. Chelsea was surprised on many this season. You can take it to the bank. So yeah, I think I've read that one too. So what else we have? Jerry Z saying, just for the sake of clarity, let's note that Pochettino's lowest finish with a challenge at Tottenham in his complete 5 seasons was fifth place. Something worth pondering. I think we do well. I just heard some rumors about Lukaku to Spurs. Anything of that, nothing too serious. If anything, I'm not sure where he's going right now. Lukaku would kiss the Spurs badge, take it to the bank. You don't even need to
It's
remind me.
true.
I don't need I don't need what's it called? I don't need Einstein to help me figure that out. Jerry Z, seriously, stop using Chat GPT. Official Brighton page on Twitter is down. Why is that? I don't know really. With Lavia, do you feel right to sell or loan some midfielders to some? I think someone would have to. One or two, one at least one will go out on loan. Who? I honestly do not know. Keep dropping the likes on. I like Jerry. He's getting the joke. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along. Well, appreciate you all. You don't need it, your proper chance. Let's see what else we have here. With the way we are spending and given 8-year contract, I believe Diogo Costa is worth it. But let's see what happens. Tuchel wouldn't be in charge of transfers if he was here. The weird job wasn't needed. Let's see what else we have. Keep hit the like button, people. 177 likes, 23 more to get it to 100. Let's make it happen. But let's switch to the next item after getting this one. We can move on from that. TT was not using them. Tobeho, that's response is for you.
Tuchel was not a problem.
No, just don't worry about it. Let's not forget about the Tuchel talk. I think somebody responded to you in the chat. If you want to check it, up to you.
No, let's avoid it.
Okay, thank you. This one here says Newcastle are keen on signing Lewis Hall from Chelsea as new fullback, as the Crystal Palace deal is in standby. Signing him on loan or permanent, I'm not too sure. Hall signed a new 6-year deal at Chelsea, but could leave on loan. Not easy to find way due to FFP, but Newcastle interest is genuine. does that mean they're looking to sign him on loan since they're not too sure how much to spend due to FFP? I'm not too sure, but I don't think Chelsea will be willing to sell Lewis Hall on a permanent. I don't know. What do you think, Tabejo?
To be honest, I said it even on Twitter. I don't like this potential move due to that Newcastle at the moment they want a left back, and I don't want Luis Hall to play as a left back anymore. I want him to play his preferred role, which is a midfielder. So
Yeah.
loaning him to Newcastle to play as a left back, I think we are wasting his talent. And the issue maybe they're having with Crystal Palace is that some recent news, Palace were complaining about how we're dealing with Michael Olise. That's when maybe Chelsea stalled the move for Liverpool, which was a good move. How can Newcastle say that we are not doing things in the right way while a player have a release clause and is willing to come to Chelsea, same as PSG did from Dembele. He had a 50 million release clause. They triggered it, simple as that, and then it was up to the player whether he wants to go to that team or not. So nothing bad about that. So I'm annoyed about these teams. So hopefully we get Olise and then we don't lose well there. I don't care.
Yeah, he's such a talent. I might also want him to play in the midfield because playing him on the flanks or except play specifically in the defensive, playing him in the defensive area. He's such a talent. He's such a fine midfielder, but unfortunately, that may well end up happening. I hope he plays in the midfield area because he's a fine player. With Broya and Jackson, we would get a 20 goals between them. I am not convinced that they can lead us to top four with the goals of Man City and Newcastle. We will have to compete with goals. Okay, let's see. The authoritative Postecoglou is precisely what Lukaku requires. Maybe still no replacement for Nkunku and Jackson. They are going to sign another injury prone who needs a replacement. Wow. Okay, let's see. What else we have here? Roger, here is a funny part on Poch. He negotiated the rules to be respected during his managership. 1 month passes, a hurricane of investment comes. Poch must be wondering, wow, I better not complain.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we need more likes. Yes, we do need more likes. Yeah, we have 179 likes, 21 more to get it to 100. Let's make it happen. And we have Henry Omo. Look, Kaka is foreign to be a water boy for us, or ball picker. Maybe one of those will be fine on him. Their friends anticipate the goal to flow from the midfield: Modric, Chile, Enzo, Stalin, Nani, and more. Let's see, Diego Costa, a striker of either Colomboani or who, then we are good to go after Olise signing to Midaya. Let's see what happens there. Analyze Poch's tenure at Spurs. Goals were abundant. Aside from Kane, Son, Ericsson, Dele Alli, and others, all found the net. Good to know. It's going to be a ball picker or a water boy. Bobby, you want to talk about Lewis Hall or should we move on? If you're still there, up to you. You haven't spoken for a while. That's usually a sign that you're not there. Are you there, Bobby?
Yeah,
Okay, there you go.
yeah.
Okay.
I know when you want to ignore me, so I'll do it now.
At
But
least
yeah,
that's chemistry.
I have to agree about Lewis Hall. First of all, I didn't think Newcastle were even looking for a loan. I thought they wanted to buy him outright, which is totally out of the question. And yeah, I think for his development, it's probably better for him to play more in midfield at a higher level than the left back that we all know he can play. I don't know. I would much prefer he go to Palace, where he at least stands a chance of doing both and competing for the midfield, because they have a fairly good midfield, than Newcastle. There's something about that Newcastle team that I don't think would fit a very young developing player. And in fact, I would be concerned that the way they're going and, you know, the physicality they use, and that he would just end up on the bench a lot.
Yeah, thank you. I hope he gets to play in his preferred position. Let's see what else we have lined up here so we can knock out the items and then talk about how we're able to attract top talent even though we don't have a Champions League football. This is not in English. This is Chelsea Espanol, but this is just saying he's gone out on loan to Leicester City. I think it would be a good loan for him because the manager there loves him. Pushed for his signing the moment he was appointed the new Leicester City manager. He pushed for him. It's a good thing. Going to play on the manager that wants you, that makes a whole lot of difference. So let me see some updates here, more updates here. Hakim Ziyech has passed his Galatasaray medical and will leave at Chelsea this summer. So we get more money there. That makes me even more happy. So Eddie, thank you if you're watching. Thank you for that update. And the other one says Chelsea will now weigh up whether or not to send David Washington out on loan. That's one of the updates Eddie sent me. Chelsea insists their approach from Michael Olise has been above board following reports. Oh no, that Romeo Lavia in London in order to complete medical tests as Chelsea player after 53 million plus 5 million in others. They'll agreed yesterday night. Brazil talented David Washington, and that's part of that particular report. The New England Revolution keeper that we're looking at doesn't want to come and become a number 2. So we'll move on to the next item we have lined up there. I want to say, what's his name? Going out on loan. Sasaki said they're going out on loan. Wasn't a surprise to me. I sensed it from my observations during the preseason that he will most likely be the one, or maybe the first to leave on loan. But let's see what other thing that we have lined up. Petrovic is being considered for the number 2 goalkeeper position, but he said he doesn't want to come to Chelsea to become the number 2. So, Roger, let's talk about this. I think it's important we do. How are we able to attract such talent? I know Moses Caicedo and Romeo Lavia both haven't tested at the champion Europe. You can say haven't tested European football, but they wanted to come to us.
Yeah,
Moses Caicedo wanted to come to us.
There's multiple.
Romeo Lavia, the same thing, wanted to come to us. How are we able to do that? Because we need to look at it. It's not that we're overpaying. We don't even pay well these days. Because we pay you.
I'd love to chip
but the whole thing,
the
structure is incentivized.
Yeah, it's.
I'd love to chip in after Roger.
Yeah, I'll be brief, Bobby. I think it's a multitude of reasons. One, I think they believe in the project, and it's become quite well known that this is a project, and that we have, shall we say, backing. They know that we're serious and we take winning seriously. Our owners do, I'm talking about. So that holds a lot of gravitas. But more importantly, I think these young players, as children, I'm talking about in the last 20 years, which most of them were born within the last 20 years, they grew up as Chelsea as a big team. No disrespect to Liverpool are a huge team. They're, I believe, England's biggest team based on what they've achieved. But a lot of that achievement came in the 1970s and 80s. And they were way before they were born. They don't know who Ian Rush is or, Kevin Keegan, etc. I could go on and on and on about their squad. They had an unbelievable squad. So I think it's because they know that the Drogbas, the John Terrys, the Makelele, you can name them all, etc., etc. And so as children growing up, they're like, wow, Chelsea, very big team. Do you understand? I think that's a big factor for them. I really do. Sorry,
I think it makes sense that the fact that these the generation of players that were signing don't know too much about Liverpool.
No.
And Chelsea, you could argue, especially in English football, have dominated for how long now? 15, 20 years, just like Pochettino mentioned during his interview.
I think it's we're entering, I believe, 21 years This will be the 21st season, and we're
Yeah.
the most successful English team trophy-wise in this 21-year span, I believe.
It does make sense, and I think Brianna Yahayu does agree. We need to talk about how we're able to do it, because look at them. From other clubs wanted Enzo Fernandez, other club wanted what's his name, wanted Nicholas Jackson, or other clubs wanted Moises Caicedo, wanted what's his name, also Leslie Ugochukwu, all these players, but they want to come to us. Well put there, Roger. But Bobby, you go ahead. You can chip in there.
Yeah, I'm glad I have the opportunity to say this, because this is testimony to what I believe I've always been saying. And Roger's right. You know, it has been mentioned by a couple of people, especially in the media, that there is a generational pull for Chelsea. You know, for me, you talk to me about people like Jimmy Greaves, going further back, Stanley Matthews. I appreciate those players, but I never really saw them. You know, I just about saw people like Peter Osgood and Alan Hudson. I was a very little kid. But, you know, you start talking to me more about, you know, your Ray Wilkins of this world, and then you go on to like your Dennis Wise, and then I can relate more. Now, these youngsters born within the last 20, 21 years, all they have seen is Chelsea. Chelsea have indeed, and, you know, more recently, City. You know, Chelsea have indeed been the most successful club in England over the past 20 years. Now, it amuses me because a lot of the people that want to gaslight this are so-called Chelsea fans. They don't really appreciate or understand the might that Roman brought to the club, the achievements that Roman brought to the club. We always talk in a
He changed
subservient way.
football in so many ways.
He did. You know, we always talk, well, some of us, not all of us, talk in such a subservient way. Oh, Real Madrid. Oh, the big cheese is Chelsea. And these young guys are showing that. If you listen to the interview by Caicedo, you know, he was saying, he was going through Chelsea, looking at the pictures of the trophies and things. And he says, I remember watching the Champions League final, which was only yesterday to old fuddy-duddies like me. I'm thinking, this is just round the corner you're talking about. But to him, it's a big deal, a big bit of history. Oh, I remember how Kante played in that game. And, you know, this is what they relate to. This is what they look up to, what they want to emulate. They don't care about Graham Souness and Ian Rush of Liverpool of the 80s. That's not their time. To them, that's the dusty old history books. So the generational pull for Chelsea is there. And another thing, and this is where I get disappointed in my own fan base, but fine, you know, it is what it is. But the other fan bases understand, and that's why they hate us and fear us so much. This project is huge. It has never been done before. And if you have vision, like the likes of Terry Fleurs, he mentioned that his 15-minute YouTube video last night and this morning, the likes of people like Simon Jordan, who has nothing to do with Chelsea. He owned Crystal Palace, for goodness sake. He was our rival, but he has the intuition, the good sense, and the intelligence to understand what is going on. Exactly. They recognize the greatness of what is in the process. And you see, one thing about when you're creating, in the process of creating, it's difficult. People see the detail. People see the ups and downs. People see, you know, the failures and the shortcomings. It's not as glamorous as the end product. And what Chelsea is doing is huge. It's attractive. It's exciting. It's interesting. And these youngsters are seeing it. You know, they come to a club where they can relate to the players.
Let me just ask you this quickly, Bobby, before you escape me. How about the length of the contract? I see somebody, who was that talked about it from the perspective that players see it as a security. that if you sign, I think it was JC that said that. Was it JC that said that on the panel? That if you give him a long-term contract, that he would want his son to sign an 8-year contract, which is you're secure for the duration of the contract. You have something, you have a pay, no matter what happens, except if you break any rules that leads to the termination of the contract. From the perspective of the length of the contract, does that benefit the players in any way, or is it just a club?
It benefits the players, of course. Everybody wants security. They're in a very insecure profession. You know, in football, you're always an injury away or an illness away from your very short career being wrecked. But if you're guaranteed 10 years of earning about 9 years of earning what, excuse my maths, what does it add to about 8 million a year? You're is better than having 3-4 years of earning 8 million a year and having to gamble that you're good enough to either improve that or equal that in another club or in the same club. It's everybody wants security, and this is security. And to show the intelligence of these owners that people like to knock and, oh, I don't like Mr. Boehly. Oh, Boehly has he made mistakes in the beginning. Oh, let's keep going on about all his issues. Meanwhile, it's not Boehly. Boehly's not alone. It's an entire conglomerate, but that's another issue. But the intelligence behind these guys and the long contracts, which people aren't even understanding, is that when you give these long contracts, not only do you have the opportunity of amortizing them in full, which we did initially, and now partially, which we have now with the extra year by not being in Europe, added to the 5 years, but also the length of contract gives us credence with insurance cover in terms of injuries and things. And I think, I don't know this detail, I won't pretend to know. I had a discussion, I think it was you and me, Roger, we were talking about it either on another platform, or maybe I was talking about it with somebody else. But I believe on that, as far as injuries are concerned, not only are there insurance policies for the players themselves, because they can insure their health, as it were, at a high premium, but the club has indemnity. There are indemnities which they can take out. So, for example, if you have a player that you're paying 200K a week, just as an example, and he gets injured for 5 years, you know, you can have that cover because you're paying big premiums anyway for them. These are all the things that lead to why transfer deals take such a long time. You're covering all these angles, getting all these things signed off and prepared and ready. The club is covering itself. For example, don't be surprised if somebody like Wesley Fofana, I'm not saying that's the case. I don't know. Please don't quote me. But I'm just saying, as an example, the club could have an indemnity insurance on him, covering the period of time that he's out not playing, which means effectively the club is getting money for him and not paying him per se. And these are all the little smart moves that's going on in the background that I'm pretty sure that our ownership, with their army of accountants and lawyers and their own business nous and their financial experts, are taking care of. So before we start knocking them and calling them this and that, give them some time, see how they evolve this project that these youngsters are gagging for. Look at Caicedo on the phone already talking to Jackson. They communicate, they can relate to each other. Talking to Enzo, they're all pally. You know, Lavia, he's comfortable because he's not the only 19-year-old on the block. There's someone even younger than him in Santos there. And, you know, although I think also ex-players, you know, Eden Hazard was there whispering in his ear, you know, there is a camaraderie, there is a family already. There is a welcome already for them. Of course, they're going to choose Chelsea over Liverpool, for sure. And anybody else for that matter. The project is attractive. Whether we have European football or not, the potential to have that European football is greater. And just before I drop, one last thing I will say, Coach. People are overestimating this, you're not in Europe. I don't think all these players necessarily want to be in Europe straight away. They are relieved for the year they can have to integrate, get used to themselves, to the manager, to playing, to the systems they can use, to getting back up to Europe, so that by the time they are in Europe, they are more rehearsed and ready unit to battle on all those different fronts. So this is not a bad thing. Not only has it given us an extra year potentially in minimum in amortization, but it's given us that time to integrate as a team. It's a wonderful project, and we should be very proud of it.
It is. It
Can
is.
I, ju-
Another
can I just very briefly say something here?
Roger.
Getting back to the window just quickly here under Boehly and company. From their very first window, there's 6 players on the team out of a 29-man roster thus far. For the second window, there's 5. For this current window, there's 13. And before Boehly, there's only 5 players. Just to let you know.
Just quickly, just give me 1 minute, Tabera. I know I can do that to you, my brother. Just quickly, an update here from AD. AD says that Chelsea are reportedly continuing to monitor Brentford striker Ivan Toney as a potential transfer target for the near future. Okay, I like the language near future until it happens. Big up, coach. The league is ours to take. Come on, Chelsea. The breach of CFC. Nice to see you, brother. Let's not forget. I want to come back to this particular comment here. Let's not overlook Poch's magnetic charisma in attracting young talents. I think that's a factor that we must not overlook. Because, for instance, just quickly, somebody like what's his name? All of them, when they speak, they do mention how good he is with young players, his track record with young players. So you can argue that on its own is a very powerful factor that we must not overlook when discussing how we're able to attract these players. But just quickly, I'll come back to you in a bit. Lukaku would do well to ask Jerry's help, advice on how to draft an apology letter on ChatGPT. Wow. Omar Chelsea is on Petrovic, but Petrovic doesn't want to come. Age group matters. They wanted to be in a place where they have the sense of belonging. I think it makes sense. And Hero, I appreciate that. Roger is on point. With respect to the new generation, they often fixate on the present. Unlike us, veterans are lured by history and culture. They are attracted to what's happening now. Yeah, the now generation, as Black Eyed Peas calls it, will.i.am to be specific. And the guys are very smart to choose Chelsea over other clubs. Chelsea doesn't have much match to play this season. They are not ready to play with pressure. They have a lot of time to blend. I think Bobby did allude to that. So we still owe the old gods a big thank you. That's another thing. We have to thank the achievements of the old gods, the Roman era. We have to, So all those factors, you can say, together play a role in how we're able, you can say, to attract these young players. At this rate, Liverpool club couldn't put a street worker, and they are dreaming of heaven. Wow. Club might need to enroll in Poches or a 101, maybe. Coach, you should tap in yellow card on back and forth. Much love to you too. Let's see what else we have here. Casado is a good replacement for Kante. I am surprised that none of the Chelsea players are from the academy understudied Kante. I'm not going to blame those. If we had any player that's capable of playing the Kante role, it's our responsibility to start integrating them gradually. You can't just understand who you're not playing with. Casado did. He's a replica of Kante. I am happy with it. Jude, okay. Nice to see you. Chelsea all the way. I appreciate you saying that. Jude, in terms of contract length, no, it does not because of inflation rate. In the next 3 years, what they receive now will be peanuts, but at least they still be receiving something. But I get your point, Henry Omo, and I appreciate that. This is, can we, Mohammed Kudus to the list? Maybe it depends on the club, Mr. Amazing. So I'm going to come to you right now, Tobeho. Yeah, tell us your thoughts on how we're able to attract these players Maybe you have another perspective to add to what we've heard from Roger and Bobby already. If we can do a tapping and then elaborate, up to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention Mauricio Pochettino, and then as someone mentioned on the comments, I
Yeah,
think
see, let
Mauricio.
me highlight that particular comment. This is this one. It says, let's not
Yeah.
overlook Poch's magnetic charisma in attracting young players. So you go ahead.
Yes, I agree
But I think it's
because
beyond charisma. I think it's his track record, though. But go ahead.
Yes.
exactly, exactly. Even the players, I think they took their time, did some research. Pochettino, talent ID, how he developed players and everything, fit for these young kids. And it's a bonus for us to get a coach like this that can attract so much talent for Chelsea Football Club. And also, guys, in terms of contract length, it helps us to spread the fees, and also it helps the players to have assurance, guarantee about their families. So, oh man, I love this project. And then our fans, a rival, and everyone we're saying Chelsea Football Club is finished. Todd Boehly is clueless, doesn't know what he's doing. Everyone got his own mistakes. No one is perfect, and I think our owners learned from their own mistakes. Now we're just hitting our rivals with more hate. They hate us now, especially Liverpool fans. They hate us because of Moses Caicedo and Lavia. How can you do this to us? We are planning to pay less than 100 million for Moses Caicedo, and then boom, they offer 110. Now we got two players. How do they feel now? So bad. Never undermine our new owners. They are so aggressive. Roman Abramovich 2.0. He didn't care about money, Roman. If he wants a player, he paid the money. Same with these owners. You can see clearly. If they want the player, they're gonna pay the money. So big up, guys.
And yet some people don't respect them.
Yes, even our fans.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
our fans mainly don't respect him because rival fans don't care too much. They're actually saying he's spending too much. But I get it. They made a mistake. But I've moved on beyond from their mistake a long time ago. Go ahead if you're still talking. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, I'm done. I'm done. Grandpa out.
That's funny.
That's you trying to fight with Roger unnecessarily.
No, he's right though. The owners have made mistakes, but they've learned from them. And I think the biggest thing they've done, in my opinion, is that they have identified who should be their directors and lead the team from an organizational standpoint for identifying everything. And I think kudos to them, really.
Yeah, signs are they've learned. The new contract, Pochettino contract, is just 2 plus 1, not even 3. They now negotiate with players. They want to know if a player wants to come to us before they even, you can say, start pushing it seriously to sign that player. So many things are happening. Yeah, it's you can say the future is bright. For lack of a better, I just can't. What I wanted to say, I just can't quite recall. But I think the future is bright, suffices. Let's see what else we have here. Coachila, let me correct one thing. Job security matters. Yep, I think I agree with you. And due to these, young players are willing to sign long-term contracts and have basic salaries. Let me underline have basic. But the good thing is that if they do well, they can actually earn more, even more. And that's one thing again about the structure of the new contract we offer to players. So I'm happy. But thank you for mentioning that. Let's see. And we must do that show where we talk about, what was it again, the FFP thing. And hopefully I'll get VJ to make time for it because it's something he's good at. Liverpool believe Chelsea have overpaid for Southampton midfielder Romeo Lavia by how much? 10 million? We're not overpaying. They actually came in with a higher fee, 60,000, and we're paying 55 plus add-ons. Yeah. So whatever they want to believe, let them believe it. So I don't really care what they think. Christian says we have to understand that the club wouldn't be there for much longer, and the winning mentality Chelsea have not have not holding back to fire coach etc. is a great attraction. Also, that's another way to see it. Honestly, apologies for revisiting the past, but what was Lampard up to during those 11 matches? Holy smokes! I'm not answering that. And I don't have the strength to start thinking honestly. Nope, I'm not answering that because probably because I don't have an answer to that question. Liverpool are still in Lavia zone. No, they're out of it. Romeo Lavia to Chelsea. Here we go. Medicals is right now undergoing medicals at Chelsea. They have 10 days left to find a DM. They should instead be talking to drink water and drink wine and bakayoko. But that's, by the way, if you have any questions and you're in the chat, go ahead and drop it there. We'll try to address it. And this is an update from AD. I think we've read that. I'm going to come back to this, Roger. Let me start with Tobeho. Your thoughts on everything we've talked about today. And thank you, people, for 201 likes. I appreciate that. That will go a long way for the stream. Tobeho, your thoughts on everything we've talked about. Or if you have anything else to add to it, you go ahead, shoot for it. Let me see if there's any new update from AD, and I'll read it out. Go ahead, Tobeho.
Yes, excellent show. Guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Also, always go check out the channel. Make sure you share it to everyone. Nice show. We're all about Chelsea. We don't care about Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal, whoever. All about Chelsea. And Roger, hope you're good, man. How's Grandpa doing? You'll tell me.
He has to let us know how is Potter doing. You're his lawyer.
But seriously,
you didn't tell us again. You didn't say anything about losing your job, which means you're still working for him.
But seriously, guys, I'm so happy for this project, and then it seems like things are moving now. We've been linked with a new goalkeeper that we don't know about. It seems like our scouts are scouting again. So massive for us. So in terms of rivals, they can care, they can complain, but we are building so big. And don't sleep on Chelsea. As long as the transfer windows is not closed yet, we can sign players as much as we want. Even the Premier League now are saying Chelsea are doing things the better way. They can reduce the way we give players contracts. As long as that is not closed yet, we're going to give them 10 years or 20 years contract. Yeah. Who cares? Mm-hmm. So I'm so happy. Yes, and then one other thing, these owners are billionaires. They do research about these things. They always find loopholes. Whether the Premier League, UEFA, do anything, they're gonna find another loophole. So big up to them. They're gonna cry more. And we are so massive. We pull out Lavia from getting closer to Liverpool. Now their fans are crying. They can keep on crying, man. They were celebrating on Thursday. Oh, he rejected Chelsea. Blah blah blah. Look at them now. They're so depressed. This is Chelsea Football Club. We are bigger than them. Yes, they have 6 Champions Leagues, 19 leagues. Yes, we know that. But how long it took them to win one league?
Yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah, Liverpool are in a live zone. I think I've heard that one. Yeah, go ahead if you're still talking. Sorry.
Liverpool are in the mud.
They are in the mud. Yeah. As for David Dawson on NBC Sports, a mutual agreement of a long-term contract between Pochettino and the board exists. The intent is to align Poch's tenure with players' contract lengths. Wow, okay, let's see that happen, but let him do well for us. We are definitely finishing top 3. Kim, so nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hello to you too. Liverpool, honestly, that's what I call them. They don't have any sort of pool, in my opinion. Porter's retainer has expired, and Roger does not work with clients without the retainer, and rightly so. The Blue to forget much love to you too, brother. Loopholes loopholes word, okay, should be banned on our channel. These are not loopholes. These are just good finance managers who did their homework and find out they can actually do this and it won't be a problem. Wasikwati says that every rival team is complaining about Chelsea sign players with so much money, but they are not complaining about clubs increasing their prices. Yeah, they should be going both ways. He mentioned that after 2 years, the club will assess whether to extend Pochettino's contract by 5 years. And this is why he highlighted the Pochettino's of fierce determination to pursue victory right now from the onset. Yeah, he doesn't want to leave any stones unturned. Liverpool are finished now. Yeah, you can say that from Bellingham, Chomeni, Casado, Lavia, and now they go for the Corey and Thuram. Yeah, I'm hearing they're going for that. The other Ivory Coast, Abdullahi, what's his name? Ibrahim Ivory Coast player. But that's by the way, Bobby. I'm gonna come to you before I go to Roger to round off the show for us. Your thoughts on everything we talked about?
Yeah, I mean, my thoughts are twofold. Funny enough, just before you mentioned it, I was thinking about Pochettino's contract, and I think it's right. It does seem common sense that his contract is to be extended in line with the contracts of the young players he's working with. However, the short term he's given at the moment is an opportunity for him to prove he deserves it, which is just common sense. And I'm sure even he himself will admit that it keeps him on his toes, and he knows that's why he says you're at Chelsea to win, and win he must do. So hopefully it works out well, and if it does, happy days. You know, the players can have longevity, he has longevity, the club has longevity and stability, which is crucial. In terms of the oh gosh, my line of thought has gone now. What was I going to say next? Oh man, it's just left my head. Oh gosh. Crazy. It's left my head. I was going to talk about something else which was really important.
We talked about that today.
Well, it just came to me, but it's left my head. Maybe it will come back. You know, I don't know. It's a good thing that Ziyech is going. I think that's really important for us. I don't know why there's a bit of a delay with Callum Hudson-Odoi. I mean, he needs to go as well. And Malang Sarr is, you know, hiding in the background. Mr. Sarr, you need to go as well. You know,
I think Sarr comes down to how his fitness. I think he's out for a while. I'm not too sure, but go ahead.
Okay, unless that, but you know, he can't hide. He's got to go. And of course, Mr. Lukaku needs to go. I understand the last I read that there is a plan for the club to work alongside him to find an alternative, because one thing is for sure, him continuing at Chelsea is not
it's not an option.
No, it's not. That bridge is well and true. It's so badly burnt that it's disappeared.
No ground to rebuild it.
No, it's done. I mean, he needs to go. The project doesn't even suit him. You know, you can see that it's just an entirely different project. If any of the old returning players that have gone to other clubs, when they play against Chelsea, they won't even know anybody on that pitch. It's changed that much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. How about you, Roger? Your thoughts on everything we've talked about?
Yeah, actually, Bobby hit on it. The thing I wanted to talk about was, I think our number one priority is to get rid of the woolly mammoth, Ziyech and Callum Hudson-Odoi. That's exactly, and even Malang Sarr. Don't forget, Malang Sarr will be pure profit. We got him for nothing. It was a free acquisition. So any contract we sell him for, whether it's 5-10 million, it's pure unadulterated profit, net, period. So this is important. These four players need to be moved on. You know, I think that's vitally important, more so than virtually any other acquisition. I do honestly believe, though, that I think our number two priority will definitely be getting, you know, Diego Costa. I really do. Diogo, sorry, you know what I'm saying. It's the goalkeeper. I think if we really do want to be successful, I think it's imperative that we acquire him. I understand there's financial ramifications, and obviously we cannot break the bank for him because of that. I get that. But I think having a world-class keeper at the back, I think is imperative. I cannot stress that enough. So those are my two things. Listen, this week will go down, I believe, in history for Chelsea. I think this is a tumultuous week, and we have a lot to be excited about going forward. This is going to be, I mean, listen, if we don't end up winning anything at the end of the year, I'll be rather disappointed. But then again,
we have the talent to win something.
Yeah, I think so. Top 5 at least, I believe. Why not?
Right. Yeah, right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all finding the time to join. I'm going to say thank you to Roger, Bobby, and my brother Tobago from the Madiba line. Much love to all of you all. I cannot thank you enough. You're the reason why we're growing as quick as we're growing. And Sa is hiding in the background according to Bobby. I liked that one too.
Yeah.
And Liverpool FC are dead already. We needed to sort the team. That's right. And I think we'll sign Han Oldman. I believe so. And Emmanuel Obeda, nice to see you. Lateness is greatness, and thank you for coming back. Sa's salary is very high as he was a free agent or hard to sell unless he compensates in salary or terminates his contract. Let's see. Francis Obunda says, I want to know about Liverpool transfer for defensive midfield. I don't know anything about that. In the beautiful game, Lukaku did this to himself. He doesn't deserve any assistance. He's a paid player, very well also, that has breached his contracts several times. Let's see what else we have here. If he wasn't employed in a regular job, he would have been. If he was employed in a regular job, he would have been sacked after that interview for conflict of interest. Yeah, but contract for footballers differ. We are coming back. And Jerry Z, Bob, you want to say something before we call it a day?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. I remembered what I wanted to say now.
Preach, Bobby, preach.
Yeah. No, people are saying that Liverpool are finished and so on. Yeah, they are in the mud, but they're not finished. I mean, remember last summer we had our fair share of a slap in the face for transfers. This happens, and they have to remember that when they're going to Sky Sports and bitching about Chelsea. I mean, it happens to everybody. It happened to I think I've forgotten who it was that went to Man City instead of Arsenal. Somebody actually mentioned that on Sky this morning. No, Man City instead of Man United. Ronaldo, that was it. Ronaldo, Man City wanted him, and then he went to Man United. All these things, so it happens. However, we have to also remember that football is cycles. Football goes in cycles. There are peaks and troughs. Yeah, the secret or the key to staying at the top is making sure that when you're going through your trough, you don't go down to the basement. And when you see the opportunity to get your peaks, you maximize that opportunity. And I'm hoping and I'm praying, and it's looking like that Chelsea are maximizing their opportunity to get back to the peak. That's what I wanted to say.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you all finding the time to join. I'm going to say thank you to Jerry Z in the chat, JC, the Blue, Tiff again. Much love to you, Francis Obunda, Emmanuel Obeidan, and Han Omtan, Brianni Yahayo. Appreciate you, brother. Much love, Mr. Troublemaker, Wasi Kouatis, Kimso, and all of you. If I miss your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and bye.
Cheers, gentlemen.